All right, it says we are live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this week's edition of This Week Unloaded. I want to apologize for not having a show last week, and I don't remember if I had a show the week before that or not. But I know last week I was really sick. There was no way I was doing a show last week. If you can tell, if you can hear it, I'm still not feeling all that great, but I didn't want to miss another show, so we're here tonight doing our thing here. And for the first time, we have with us Mr. Travis P11. How are you tonight, Travis?
Hey, I'm doing all right, man. Appreciate the invite. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's cool to have you
Cool.
finally. I mean,
Yeah.
with your work skills and everything, so I
Oh,
get
yeah.
why you can't do it, but it's cool. It's cool to have you.
Well, I'm generally just getting home about this time, so it's tough for me to jump in when I'm trying to get everything ready. But winter weather kicked in, and I was pretty much stuck here. So, yeah, I'm home.
Yeah. I don't know if he's there or not, but we also have the kingpin of crime himself, Mr. David Bowling. You there, David?
Yes, sir. How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Yep, no problem. Are you on both your laptop and your cell phone? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, I figured since I was going to go out and get coffee, I might as well, instead of shutting the computer down, just leave it going. So
All right.
I'll be here twice. So you can ask me twice, but only one of the pictures is going to answer back.
All right. Just so we know which one we're talking to. That's what matters. All right. So we were just talking in the pre-chat about how we do our coffee. And Travis, you were saying you use a drip brewer.
I bounce between several different methods, but I've been using my single serve, my mainstays $20 Walmart Keurig maker, but I use the little filter basket that comes with it, and I can just brew ground coffee through it. That's what I've been doing lately. But once in a while, if I get a big batch of something, I'll just bust out the drip brewer or whatever. I've done French press, mocha pot, a little bit of everything. So yeah.
Yeah, we got the dual machine, I guess you could call it Keurig, where you have the drip brewer and then you have the K cup brewer, and they're all both in one machine. They use the same water well. The Keurig, you have the well that you pour the water in.
Yep.
It's got one big one that goes across the back of it and holds enough water to do two pots of coffee, or I forget how many little K cups, but you can do multiple K cups or two pots of coffee with it. So,
Now, do you guys just use tap water in that, or do you guys use purified water or Brita filter or something? I always use purified water,
yeah,
and it's
we
just because, yeah. What do you guys do?
we have a pure water filter on the sink, and
Okay,
so
okay.
we use filtered water in it.
And it sounds kind of fancy schmancy, but the truth is that hard water will destroy your machine in about a year if you use it daily. Because when we first got our K cup makers, our family, we would have to clean them, and the crud, like the chunks of hard water deposits, would just like come out of the lines when you'd run vinegar through them to clean them and stuff. So if you got real hard water in the area that you live in, it can ruin the machine. Which, we're talking 80. These are $80, $100 back in the day. So it's kind of an expensive luxury, I guess you could say, if you didn't take care of it.
Yeah, and if you do have a Keurig or one of those K cup makers, they do make
Yeah.
a special solvent for them, where if you put
Yep.
that in there and let that run through, it really cleans out, and you can really taste the difference after you run that stuff through there. You can tell how much gunk is building up in that machine at that point.
And
But
if you ever get one that plugs up and doesn't run, just grab a paper clip and you can clean out the puncture needle in the top and the bottom. You just put that up into the little siphon holes, and you can punch that. Especially if you have family that do a lot of hot chocolate or like espressos, like powder espresso mixes through those things. That stuff just clogs up the puncture needle, and so it can
yeah,
cause some issues with it. Yeah.
yeah, that brings up a interesting one too. I don't know if you've seen the new Keurig that they have too. They actually have one now that does a frother where you can actually make actual real cappuccino with your
Oh
Keurig.
yeah. 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 Well, now hold on. When you do that, did they have an espresso maker on it, and then you actually froth up the cream and pour that in there, or what?
Yeah. You use the Keurig to make the espresso,
Oh,
and
okay,
then
okay.
it comes with a frother that froths up the cream, and then you pour that into the espresso to make your cappuccino.
You know, the other one that I have, and I've never done a video on this. In fact, I'd have to find it. It's probably packed up somewhere. But I've got a Nespresso. Have you ever seen those before? Espresso maker.
Oh yeah, my neighbor when I was living at home with my mother still. My neighbor she had a espresso machine, and I would go over her house to watch hockey games, and we sitting there watching the Penguins and doing espresso shots.
Okay. Yeah, that one that's the one that's made by Nestle and that Nescafe or whatever, and that uses the little pods.
Yeah.
And that brews up your espresso shots with it. That thing is actually good. The problem with that is that you can't really buy the pods easily in the stores. Like you can't just find them in Walmart. You have to go to specialty stores and get them. They run about $1 a piece unless you get the non Nestle brand, I guess you could say. It does make a really good espresso. I really enjoy it. I mean, they're you can get a good variety. There's a bunch of big variety of different types and flavors you can get and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You sit there watching a hockey game and you doing the espresso shots the whole time. You don't sleep that night.
Oh no, you're going to get pretty jacked up. Well, I mean, a lot of people think that espresso's got a crap ton of caffeine, and it's usually only about as much caffeine as a regular cup of coffee. But then that depends on your variety of coffee, because there's some coffees that have a higher caffeine content than others.
Yeah, the problem is you're right. It has the same amount of coffee, but you're drinking a smaller amount of coffee, getting that same amount of caffeine.
Oh yeah, so you do 3 or 4 of those, and you might as well just drink a Starbucks Grande,
Yeah, you drink 3 shots of that stuff. You just drank 3 full cups of coffee without drinking 3 full cups of coffee, but you're getting that amount of caffeine. I mean, that's what gets you. And if you're doing if you have 12 of those, you're not sleeping that night.
Well, and you're probably not going to get espresso at even the nicest of hockey arenas or rinks.
No, we were doing this at our house.
I know. I'm just saying that's why you got to do it at home, because you can't get that. You can't get that.
You can now. I guarantee.
Oh, okay. Now. Okay, now you can. Okay, yeah. If you want to pay $5
have you seen modern hockey arenas in the major NHL cities? Good Lord, they have gourmet restaurants in them.
Oh man, no, I've never been to an NHL game. I should go. We've got Denver? Was it Colorado Avalanche out there?
Colorado Avalanche. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't follow as much hockey as I should. I got a buddy who from the East Coast that's just a huge hockey fan. So anytime he's a Red Wings fan, and anytime they're playing, I swear to God, Stanley Cup playoffs are year round. Every time I ask him how the Red Wings are doing, he's like, "Oh yeah, they're in the first round of Stanley Cup playoffs." So either he's playing a joke on me. I know hockey's got like a 9-month season or something. It's like NASCAR.
Yeah, if he's telling you the Red Wings are in the playoffs, he's lying. The Red Wings haven't made the playoffs in the last 3 years.
I know he's been pretty upset about that. But the point is that every time I watch hockey, it's Stanley Cup playoff. It never fails, man. And that's just for me being – and I've got nothing against hockey, but we do have local teams here that are pretty popular too. Some of the lower level hockey teams. These are some of the kids that there's a couple younger leagues. They're like a sub-21 division, and then there's also the minor leagues of hockey out here in our neck of the woods. So, yeah.
Yeah, the NHL playoffs are like the NBA playoffs. They start in April and don't end until the middle of June.
Oh, yeah.
July,
Yep.
So, I mean, I think the NHL playoffs start a week or two before the NBA playoffs every year.
So the Pittsburgh Penguins, then, is that right?
Yeah, I'm from Pittsburgh, man. I'm a Penguins fan.
So how have they done the last couple of years? Are you telling me I should probably switch teams or what?
The Pens make the playoffs every year.
Okay.
They currently have the longest playoff streak.
Ooh. So maybe I should tell him to start watching a winning team instead. Is that?
Well, up until the Red Wings started not making the playoffs, they had the longest streak. They had made it for over 20 seasons in a row.
Oh wow.
That's one of the longest since the expansion in the late 60s, which is when they went from having just the original 6 teams to where it actually started to turn into a real league.
Yeah.
That is the longest playoff streak since the expansion.
Go Caps.
Oh, God, no. In case you don't know, the Penguins and the Capitals are rivals. The last how many seasons it's been the Capitals finishing first in the division and the Penguins finishing second in the division. And then both teams went back to back on Stanley Cup wins. It was the Penguins and then the Penguins and then the Capitals and then the Capitals. But the Capitals have only beat the Penguins in a playoff series twice in their history.
Yeah, for a long time, the Caps were good for getting knocked out in the first round. Be the best team in the league all season and get knocked out in the first round.
Yeah. I still say Ovechkin's a puck hog. If you got more goals than assists in your career, you're a puck hog.
What's his job? Put the puck in the net, right? Win games.
Yeah, but
So,
but
he's doing what he's.
no, he's not. He's not. I'm sorry, but nobody else in the history of the league has had more goals than assists. It's just,
Do you think they hired him? Do you think they hired him to do something besides put the puck in the net? No, they didn't hire him to pass. They hired him to score. That's what he's there for.
Yeah, and you know what? That's why you guys haven't done anything until lately, because you didn't have anybody else distributing the puck. Everybody was constantly feeding it to him.
Yeah, and he was putting it in the back of the net.
And nobody else was.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. I can't win every game.
Well, that's why y'all weren't winning in the playoffs.
How's Pittsburgh doing?
So, David, you'll be happy to know that Nebraska did not make it to a bowl game this year. At least I don't think we did. So it's you got your Maryland revenge. So
a couple guys, like the Ohio State guys and a few of the other real Big Ten big teams. I mean, text me and say, "Hey, Maryland's playing, Ohio State, Nebraska, Michigan State, or whatever." And the only thing I can say is wait till basketball season. Maryland moving to that division was a death knell for their football team.
I gotcha.
But in case you didn't catch, if you didn't catch it from me and Kingpin just now, there really is a rivalry between the Penguins and the Capitals.
Yeah, those Pittsburgh people won't know that the Penguins suck after all these years.
Who's got more cups, brother? That's all I got to say.
I'm staying out of this argument because I don't really have any kind of credibility. So I'm just here. I'm just here to separate you two when you go to each other's throats. So
We've been in the same car before. It's cool.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Good. Yeah, the weird thing with me when it comes to either baseball or hockey, I don't really follow any teams in particular. But if there's just a game on, I just want some noise in the background. I might watch it just for the heck of it. But I don't really follow anybody in particular. Part of it is where I live out here, we have no pro teams. I mean, everybody's either a lot of people where I live in the central part of Nebraska, they're either Broncos fans or Chiefs fans. So you don't really have any. We have no local pro teams at all. I mean, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma. Or no, Kansas has the Chiefs, but yeah, we don't. There's just no major pro, popularity around here. So it's just pretty much people watch whoever.
Yeah, you got 3 teams NFL-wise that people generally root for around here. You got the Steelers, you got the Ravens, and then you got the Redskins.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you guys, if Pennsylvania got flooded with Redskins fans over the years.
No, not really. I mean, you got the Steelers and you got the Eagles in Pennsylvania. And then you get up into Erie and it's Buffalo.
Well, I'm just figuring, some of your southern Pennsylvania people are probably Ravens fans now. So, a whole bunch of people in Maryland jumped onto the Redskins because that's the only thing that they had to choose from when Baltimore lost its football team. Kind of like how, Washington didn't have anybody but the Orioles. Virginia didn't have anybody but the Orioles to root for in baseball.
Yeah, well, the Redskins don't even play in Washington. They actually play in Maryland.
Yeah, I know that.
Well, yeah, you do, but that doesn't mean everybody else does. I mean, I know exactly. I know where FedEx Field is. I've ridden right by there.
There's a bunch of teams that don't play in their own city, like New York. The Giants don't play in New York.
Neither do the Jets.
The Jets don't play in New York. Yeah,
they're both in Jersey.
There's another. Is it not the Vikings? There's another team in the northern area. I feel like that doesn't play where. Well,
Maybe.
New England doesn't really even have a home. They're just a fake regional football team.
Yeah, they play.
Oh, man.
They play in Foxborough. They used to be the Boston Patriots, but somehow when the team first came into the league, they were the Boston Patriots, and somewhere along the line they became the New England Patriots. Well, it's like Panthers. Which they play in North Carolina, but they don't call themselves the North Carolina Panthers. They just call themselves the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah. I prefer the London Silly Nannies anyway.
Are there any pro teams in East Virginia? Because there's West Virginia. Is there East Virginia pro teams? Like, I'm joking, of course. I know there's no East Virginia, but
I mean, if you listen to the people with their heads on fire right now, there's going to be a North and a South Virginia.
because of the whole talking about because of the
Politics,
sanctuary cities and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, are the sanctuary cities popping up all over the state, or is there predominantly one area that you're seeing the sanctuary cities in and not? I mean,
the DC corridor, essentially.
Yeah. Like Virginia has a region that is basically a different state, if you want to look at it that way. It's its own like city state, and everybody calls it Northern Virginia, which is where like big cities and all your hustle and bustle is at, which is right outside DC, or like Rich said, the DC corridor.
Yeah.
Everything south of that is a whole different world.
I hear that's the same thing for Illinois too.
Yeah, you take the map of Virginia and you go maybe a little bit west of Leesburg, and then cut a trench all the way down around the bottom towards Richmond area. Cut that whole section out, and you got one state, and then the rest of Virginia is a totally different state.
So when you go west of Richmond, I'm looking at a map right now because I'm trying to understand East Coast geography. I mean, I know it, but I don't. So we're talking west of Richmond is where things are a whole lot different than east and north, or what?
Yeah, you got I don't know what map of Virginia you have, but there's a little town not too far to the west of the DC corridor. It's called Leesburg. Basically, you start there and you draw a line and go down the east coast of Virginia. That's all one state. And then the rest of that's west of that line, that's a totally different state. They're both Virginia, but you would think you were in two different states altogether.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, it kind of sounds like Nebraska, East Nebraska and West Nebraska. West Nebraska is like the Old West, and, the prairie and the plains and eastern part of Nebraska is all hilly and trees and different attitude and different people, and it's where the bulk of the population lives. But
man, once you get up in the DC corridor, you get in like the Arlington and Alexandria, Fairfax, Virginia, and all that area, Tyson's Corner. That's all the way it is because of freaking people that work in DC. They work in DC for all those politicians. It's like their staffers and stuff that live in those areas. So it's no wonder they're all going Democrat, because you got the House is all controlled by the Democrats, and they get all their staffers working for them there, and that's where they live, is in those areas. And it's no wonder it's going blue in that area, and that's where the most heavily populated part of Virginia is right there.
So what kind of laws are they looking at passing? Because I've only been hearing about the sanctuary cities. What are they trying to do? They want to do like assault weapons bans? Or are they trying to do? I know that term doesn't exist to us, but
if they want to pass a law that if you go to a ranging or shooting at a silhouette target, you're now guilty of being a paramilitary.
Part of the militia, okay, or paramilitary training or something like that.
And they want to make that illegal.
Oh my God. So again, they'd rather have us not be proficient with our firearms when we're trying to defend ourselves and miss our target completely and hit the kid down the street, or what?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
You watch Guns and Gadgets ever, Travis? Yeah, he's got a couple videos recently. He's been firing away at the Virginia thing recently. So his last week and a half videos are pretty much Virginia based.
Well, he's the East Coast guy, right?
New Hampshire, I think, or Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Massachusetts.
No, he's in New Hampshire.
Is it New Hampshire?
Yeah, he's up in New Hampshire. I forget where he's originally from. He's from Well, he's not originally from there. He's from somewhere else. I just don't remember where he was originally
See, he's
from.
got kind of an East Coast kind of dialect to his speak. So that's why I thought maybe he's from that area.
Yeah, he doesn't have that New England accent.
Yeah.
He's dang, I can't remember where he said he's from. Oh well. But anyway, he's not originally from there, but that's where he lives. He's up in New Hampshire. He moved to New Hampshire when he got out of the military, I believe, if I remember right. So, what were you trying to show us with the map, Kingpin?
There it is. Can you see it now?
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah, I was looking at that map.
Right about here, if you take and build a wall roughly right through here, that's Northern Virginia.
Well, I don't know.
So basically everything right above the word Washington, if you want to be overly exaggerated about it a little bit, but all this little section above the word Washington.
Well, I would say everything above the N in Washington, the first N, maybe.
Yeah, like everything from my little cursor to the left, where West Virginia begins, and then really even true if you want to take it and put it in between the cursor here and the cursor here. That's Northern Virginia.
Yeah,
it's roughly the size. It's roughly the size of a normal city.
Yeah, well, Winchester's not as bad because right about the point above the I, that's where Winchester is, and Winchester's not as bad as the rest of Northern Virginia.
Yeah, that's when you start getting out to the flatland to the west,
Yeah.
And
Front Royal's not that bad either. That's why I was saying, like, from Leesburg over. Leesburg would be right about where West Virginia comes to a point above the G.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. If you cut it up here above, like this little slither right through here, that like triangle area right there is basically what Northern Virginia is, give or take.
So how serious are these communities and cities about becoming sanctuary cities? They've officially declared this is what we do, and you come here and you can't do that, or what?
Well, yeah, the sheriff's departments have come out and made statements that they're not going to prosecute the unconstitutional firearms laws.
Okay, what about the police department? So,
well, that's it. It's only going to count in the sheriff's departments.
Yeah, in some of those towns in that area, you only have the sheriff's department. Unless you're in like Norfolk, Lynchburg, Winchester. I'm trying to remember what's one of the other big cities that's in that area. Blacksburg, which is where Virginia Tech is. Charlottesville. Those places are the only place that's going to have maybe a local PD. Everywhere else is going to have sheriff's departments.
Okay, see, I didn't realize that. That's a whole different kind of setup than a lot of we've got small town police departments out here, just as many as I would say sheriffs, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's the way it is here in West Virginia too. Like the city I live just outside of, they have their own police department, but the rest of the county just has sheriff's department. So if you call the police, you're either getting the sheriff's department or in some cases the state police showing up to handle what's going on.
Yeah.
In West Virginia, the state police is basically the same as the sheriff's department because the head of the state police is appointed by the governor, but he answers not to the governor, but to the attorney general, who is an elected official. So the head of the state police is in truth the attorney general.
Now, technically, when you have a state that has counties, because not every state has counties, and the county elects a sheriff, the sheriff is the highest level of law enforcement, which they do trump city officials and they do trump state officials. But the problem is, if you get pulled over by a state trooper, the sheriff's department's probably not going to know about it if they take you to a state police barracks and book you in.
Yes, but the state police arrest you, it still goes to the county prosecutor's office, and the county prosecutor has the option whether they're going to prosecute you or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Generally, the county prosecutor will follow whatever policy on that the sheriff has set down. The sheriff has set down a policy, or the county commissioners have set down a policy where they're not going to obey the state law on something. The prosecutor generally will go with that.
And ultimately,
General, not always, but in
yeah,
general.
ultimately, it's really strong. Having a sheriff come out and say that they're declaring their county a sanctuary county is very, very strong, but it's not impervious.
So, I mean, what are the state police saying about all this? In some of these counties where these declarations are being made, are the state police also coming out in support, saying, we go along with what our sheriffs want, or can they not because they're being ordered by the state?
Maryland's had a few counties come out as sanctuary counties. I think there's 4 or 6 right now. I'm not 100% sure about that. And the state police usually don't say anything at all about it. And the state police in Maryland are in charge of all your firearm stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet it's the 6 westernmost counties that are all sanctuaries. They're the ones that want to break off and either form their own state or become part of West Virginia.
Well, everything from my county west is pretty average everyday American county. You know, normal people who just want to live their lives and be left alone.
Yeah.
Then from like the Bay Bridge east is the same way, and the southern Maryland, it's right central Maryland, Annapolis, Baltimore, Howard County, Montgomery County, stuff like that, Cecil County. That is the biggest problem. They're the highest population density, and where the most money is at.
Yeah, the county I live. Yeah, David knows where I live. The county I live in borders Garrett County and Allegheny County, which are the 2 westernmost counties in Maryland, and they couldn't be any more conservative. They're as far right as what Baltimore is far left. I mean, it's night and day, but they don't have the population that Baltimore area has, so they can't offset. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You don't have the numbers, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to voting and stuff like that.
Just another hashtag don't Maryland your state. Another warning to everybody who lives in a free state that has decent elections and almost semi-human politicians. Don't let gerrymandering become the law of the land there, because gerrymandering has destroyed the state of Maryland. It's almost impossible for anybody but a Democrat, or an incumbent, rather, I'll say, to win re-election. Now, Larry Hogan was the first Republican to win re-election, two seats back to back in 30 years or something in Maryland. And he's also just happens to be like the most popular governor in the country right now when you look at the popularity numbers. But right in the next session, they have another whatchamacallit, gerrymandering bill come up. So when the governor goes Democrat again and the government is all Democrat, they're going to redraw the lines again, and then for another 20 years, Maryland's going to be a Democrat state.
No, it's not like Larry Hogan's a real Republican anyway. Let's be honest.
Well, yeah, we've talked about that till our faces have turned blue.
Yeah, you live in Maryland. I live in the county bordering Maryland. We both know what's going on in Maryland. Larry Hogan is not a Republican. That's one of those situations where he ran as a Republican to get elected.
Kind of like President Trump then, or what?
No, kind of like honestly, kind of like the governor we have here in West Virginia. He's a lifelong Republican who switched to Democrat to get elected, and then once he was elected, switched parties back to being Republican again.
Yeah, but your governor is a pretty hardcore lefty, though, man. And Larry Hogan is basically the Donald Trump. Donald Trump, a lot of people like to say Donald Trump was a Democrat his whole life, which is not even true. Donald Trump was a libertarian his whole life.
No, the governor we have now is not a lefty. He pulled some lefty stuff to trick like Hillary and Obama into endorsing him as a Democrat. But the policies that he's done when he switched parties and since he actually took office, he's not a hardcore leftist. He killed Common Core in the state for one thing.
You got a new governor recently, didn't you?
Yeah.
Who's the old guy? I'm thinking of the old guy.
Yeah, you're thinking of the old guy, the guy that was in the before.
Yeah. I'm sorry, my bad. So you were right, Rich. I apologize.
Jim Justice is the governor now.
Yeah, I take that back. You guys got a decent one now. It's the other guy who was he was a fake Democrat and a fake Republican. You see him during Trump's State of the Unions. Every time he'd say something, the dude would jump up and start clapping before anybody did. And he was the only person on the left-hand side.
Little overly emotional, huh?
Yeah, he's talking about Manchin, who when he was governor, I'm going to tell you right now, Manchin was not that bad of a governor for a Democrat. He didn't do some of the things that some other Democrat governors have done in other states. But man, when he first got elected to the Senate, he went hardcore left. And the other reason why that son of a bitch is still in the Senate is because we had the state attorney general, who's a Republican, and who fought a lot of what Obama was doing. He was one of the main guys that fought Obamacare. He was one of the main guys defending trying to get Second Amendment things before the Supreme Court and stuff, right? He was running for Senate against Manchin the last time. We had this other asshole run on the Mountain ticket, which is another conservative ticket, took off just enough of the vote from Morrissey, who's our attorney general, to get Manchin back in office again. I didn't send Sarge a link? I thought I sent Sarge a link.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. I just typed that anyway. So.
Okay. Yeah, I saw where you said that. I didn't know if I forgot to send him one or not.
Yeah, Jim DeMint, that was funny. Go back and watch some of the stuff on the State of the Union addresses, and you'll see one dude in the front row, and every time Trump says the word "well," he jumps up and starts clapping. I mean, it's ridiculously funny. And it was right before the his last election cycle. So this was, I guess, Trump's first State of the Union address.
Yeah, you're talking about Joe Manchin. Yeah, he's a two-faced,
So Travis, Bear Creek Arsenal doesn't sell lowers?
No, they do. Yeah, they've got lowers and they sell complete rifles. They might be sold out after Black Friday.
Well, I've been pricing I pretty much found the 458 upper I'm going to go with, and then I can't find anywhere on their site that has the lowers for sale.
Yeah, Lower Assemblies. They've got, if you just click on Lower Assemblies on their website, they're right there. They're 149, and I mean I've got nothing. I mean they're fine, but right now they just have an AR-10 for 249. They've got a pistol lower with an SB A3 brace for 234 and an AR-9 lower for 199. I honestly just go with PSA because PSA is usually in stock. And for the longest time, Bear Creek did not have any 5.56 or 223 multi-caliber lowers in stock. So I've just done PSA. I mean, I know you might want to stick with the same brand all the way across the board, but it's hard to get Bear Creek's lowers when they're actually. I mean, I don't know why, but they're usually 149 is what they go for with that, and their shipping is like $10.
I think that you guys were colluding together because when I was looking, I kept seeing this really good deal on a complete 300 blackout pistol.
Oh yeah,
Travis is setting me up.
Oh yeah, dude, that thing is I absolutely love that. That little gun is just awesome. I got those UTG low profile sights on there too. It's a very compact unit. Kind of wish I would have went with the shorter barrel. In fact, at some point I might go with like an 8.5 or 7.5 inch 300 blackout upper, but I just haven't gone that route yet. But man, the problem with those uppers, man, I mean, they're like they're at $200 a piece, or 200 to 225. They're just affordable enough that you can get into a new caliber without having to invest a whole lot into it. So that's that's why I got the 762 and I got the 5.56 and 300 blackout, and now I'm looking at the 458 SOCOM or 450 Bushmaster, and yeah.
Well, kind of on the same line of questioning, but changing a little bit. The AR pistol that I won from Scotsman, I still haven't got optics for that, and I pretty much decided I'm not going to put a red dot on it. I'm just going to put flip-up sights.
Sure.
You think does it really matter if I buy cheap, knockoff flip-up sights, or should I not do that?
It does. Okay, so what I've noticed with the imitation Magpuls that I've seen that sell for $5 or $10, they're very close to the Magpul originals, but the polymer is not the same grade. because a while ago I tested some little like $10 set that I bought off Wish.com, and I've noticed that as I've taken them off and put them on other rifles, when you turn the screwdriver, they torque and turn like clockwise as you tighten them, and they get out of alignment. So you got a couple options. You can just get some nice, inexpensive, just like kind of clunky but heavy duty like NC Star UTG flip up sights for $20, $30 a pair. But the UTG low profiles that I have, I mean, the metal is a very high quality grade. They lock into place. They're very well finished. They've got nice adjustments on them that actually click. I mean, they're about $50 for a set. I'd say go that route or get a set of the MBUS Magpul originals from PSA when they're on sale for like $50, because they have that thing where you can punch the little code in and get them for half price.
Yeah, I got a set of all metal ones that I bought on Amazon. I can't remember the name of the company. It was Ozark something.
Yeah.
They're made in USA. They were like $30. They work. That's all I got to say about them. They work.
Don't get crappy. I would not buy any polymer AR sights unless they're Magpul, because I think the hardness of their plastic, they keep the rigidity, and these cheapos that I bought, they're terrible.
These
I'd like to
Ozark
go with
whatever.
metal. I'm sorry, Rich. Go ahead, bud.
I was gonna say these Ozark whatever ones. I cannot remember the name of the company. I don't know where they're at right now. But look at the box. But
I think it's Ozark Tactical, isn't it?
Ozark Tactical, Ozark Armament, something along those lines. Yeah. But they're really nice. They really are.
Well, I'd want to go metal. I really probably want to avoid, and I've got a UTI bipod, and it's the greatest thing in my gun collection. I love this bipod. I won't even buy another one. I'm just going to keep moving this one from gun to gun whenever I need it. It's so good. So I was thinking about UTI, but a lot of people have been telling me about the Daniel Defense ones, but that's why I was asking if I spend less money, not necessarily on some cheap plastic knockoff ones, but less money on some quality ones.
Yeah.
You know, am I really getting the extra cash when I buy Daniel Defense as opposed to UTI or Magpul?
Well, I mean, I'm going to say yes to a point, like, because I've got some of the I had Midwest Industries sights on my first AR, and they were just rock solid. They're wonderful, but they were also, $85 for the front and like $95 for the rear. But these UTG low profiles are all metal. They've got a nice lock. I mean, they've got a good finish on them. They're not going to fall apart. They're $45. I'm looking at them right now on Amazon. They're $45 for a set, and I think they've got a pretty decent warranty that comes with them too. But I would get metal for starters, if any, and then read the reviews and see what people say about it, because a lot of times you get these and they don't stay up when you shoot. They don't have a nice locking retention on them, so you want to just definitely make sure that if they have like their flip up style, like when you push the button and they flip up, that they do in fact lock into place. See what people say about that, because if you get ones that won't stay up while you're shooting, they're pointless.
Yeah, and Western Probe's out there saying it is Ozark Armament. That's what the name of the company is.
Okay.
I had those things zeroed for my AR pistol. I took them right off my AR pistol, put them onto my son's KSG when he had it. They held their zero going from one gun to the next.
Yeah, looking at the Ozark Armaments right now, they're $30 for a set for just the regular Ozark Armament flip up backup battle sights, Picatinny mount, flat top, upper co-witness from sights, BUIS. Yeah. So if they're metal, I would go that route. But do look at, and having ones that flip up when you press a button it's not necessarily an advantage. Like these UTGs and these Ozark Armaments, you actually physically pull them up and then they lock into place. They have
mine are push button.
Yours are push button. Okay, because I'm looking at these and they look like they're not. They look like they have a little pin that you push to bring them back down and lock them into place.
Yeah, they're push button. You push it and flip.
Yeah, you want to make sure that they do lock into place. So because sometimes you get ones that just go up, but they won't actually physically snap. And then every time you fire, they flip back at you. So
yeah, they got a pretty stout spring, and you can hear when they lock when you push the button.
Okay.
So do you guys go with the peep sight or with the? I guess it's not the Trident. I guess like whatever the other back sight is. I can't think of the name of it right now.
The Ozark Arsenal I have, they're like standard AR-15 sights. You got the dual aperture rear sight for You got your battle distance, and then you're at your long distance shooting apertures that you flip up and down, and then the front sight's just like an AR-15 sight.
Is there a place I can share I got the link on standby here. Is there a place I can put that on internal chat? Oh, here it is. David, I'll just go ahead and put the link right here for you. For the Ozark Armament ones. Cool. Yeah, and the Ozark Armament ones are milled aluminum or milled something or another steel. So I think you're going to be okay with those.
Mine are aluminum.
There you go.
Anodized aluminum.
Yeah, milled aluminum flip up front and rear sights, spring loaded for quick deployment. And they're the number one seller, and it says in airsoft gun sights. But if you read the reviews, there's a lot of people that say, you know, I've used this on my M4, I've used this on my rifle, and it works fine.
Yeah, I've had mine for a few years now. Since I first got my AR-15 pistol, and I don't know, man, they just work. That's all I got to say. I mean, I don't know what else I can say about them. They do what they're supposed to.
Then also put the UTG low profile ones. I'll put a link for that also on the internal chat. And you can look up the ones that I bought for my 300 Blackout pistol. Because I'm kind of in the same situation. I'm probably gonna pick up a red dot for Christmas, but for right now I'm just running iron sights on it. And the Magpul Pro sights are really nice, but you're looking at almost $200, $179, $180 or something like that. If you're going to go that route, and they're really nice, but they're also pretty pricey. So,
yeah, and this is absolute range gun and total emergency home defense gun. So, I definitely do not want to spend $100 plus, like $200 on a set of sights. That's not what I need.
Yeah. Metal ones are nice because they're going to handle being banged around a little bit. Not that the Magpul ones are not durable, because I mean Magpul's proved itself, but if you want to go metal, I don't blame you. You know, that's definitely the way to go. But I've put probably only about 200 rounds for my 300 Blackout pistol at this point. And those flip-up sights have held just fine because I usually keep them up when I'm shooting. So it's not an issue. Yeah.
Those Ozark Armament ones that you posted, those are the exact ones I have. Rear sight is windage adjustable. Your height, your elevation adjustments on your front one, you just use an AR-15 sight adjustment tool like you would on a standard AR-15 front sight to adjust the elevation. And then,
cool.
Yeah.
The only go ahead, Charlie.
Oh, I was gonna say the only bad thing about 300 Blackout, and it depends on how much you want to shoot. It's the ammunition is not exactly cheap. It's a little more, you're going to notice a price difference. But if you're only going to do 20 rounds here, 20 rounds there, I'd almost say just invest in getting yourself, maybe try a couple boxes out go onto like AmmoSeek and go price per round and try out a few boxes of some of the cheaper brands and just see how it runs. And then if it runs well, just get yourself like a case of 1,000. Because it is. I mean, I think I was paying like, $12 or something a box at Walmart for the American Eagle 300 Blackout, just full metal jacket ammo. And so you definitely notice the price difference versus 5.56.
Well, I've got an ammo question for you, Travis. And not meaning to be all fanboy, but I would consider you an ammunition expert. Why do you prefer steel case in your AK-15? What's the 7.62?
Okay. Well, for one thing, it's cost per round. But are you talking about what I was talking about with the ammunition earlier on Gary's chat, or what?
Yeah, I've heard you. The past couple times that we've talked, I've heard you mention that you prefer steel case and different types of stuff, and I was just curious as to why.
Well, okay, in the AK-47, you can run steel case ammo just fine, and it's cheap. I mean, it's for 1,000 rounds for that caliber of round, the steel case is going to be under $200 for 1,000 rounds. Brass 7.62x39 is very expensive. There might be some Wolf brand out there, whatever you can go with, but the brass ammo that I've purchased for my 7.62x39 bolt action rifle, it's anywhere between 89 cents and $1 per round. Whereas you can get 40 rounds of Tula for $10. The thing is, you got to watch out for is not every gun can handle steel case ammo without extraction issues. For whatever reason, my Bear Creek 223 Wild, 5.56 M4 loves steel case ammo. It'll shoot it all day. I've run that almost exclusively through it. And then I've heard horror stories of people that can't run steel case. It jams or whatever in their ARs. But in the AKs, you're fine going with steel case ammo. What I was talking about earlier on Gizzard Gary's chat is Hornady makes their SST. I think it's SST, that little polymer tip bullet. They make that in a case round. They used to. And it's weird. Okay, it was a 50-round box that was only like $23. And it was a higher quality, higher grade round than a lot of the cheaper steel case stuff that you could buy. But it was also cheaper than premium brass hunting ammo. And my Ruger American Ranch rifle, chambered in 7.62 by 39, was designed to run steel case ammo with no problems. And so to me, I was going to buy a bunch of that and get my rifles tuned for that and use it as my hunting round. Well, apparently the only way you can get that steel case ammo now is under the Hornady American Black packaging, which is now $20 a box for 20 rounds. So Foose was telling me that they sell it as steel case, but I've seen it as brass. So I don't know what Hornady's doing, but I'm pretty disappointed they're not making that package of 50 rounds for $20 anymore, $23 anymore, because that was a really good value. So now, if I want to go hunting with my 7.62 by 39, any of my rifles that are chambered in that, I'm looking at having to spend the money on like a Winchester soft point, or going with like a Wolf variant, or something from Tula. But I like Hornady's ammunition. I think they do a good job with it, but unfortunately, they just don't make that steel case. Apparently, that's no longer in production, and I've got about 25 rounds of it left, and that's it.
Yeah, I think the cheapest you're going to find is probably that Yugo stuff I was telling you about on Tuesday. At this point.
Yeah. Because if I buy a soft point domestic production, Winchester makes a Deer Season XP 7.62 round, and it's like $24 a box for 20 rounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
brass,
just strictly pennies per round, David. Steel case is really hard to beat, but not every gun can shoot it well. And some people argue that it wears out your chamber, and the rounds can wear out your barrel faster because of the type of rounds that you're shooting.
Yeah, the bullet might. I mean, the steel case.
Not the case itself, but it's like copper jacketed.
Yeah, the jacket.
Steel or whatever, steel bullets. Yeah,
the steel jacket on the bullet, because they're bimetal, but it's also got a copper jacket over top, or brass jacket over top of that steel. So you don't got steel on steel contact.
Now Tula does make range friendly steel case 7.62 by 39, and it's only about like a quarter, maybe 50 cents more per box than the non-range friendly stuff. So it's not magnetic, so you can safely shoot it indoors in your ranges.
Yeah, that's what's always nice about the Yugo stuff. It was brass cased and it was copper jacketed, because the Yugoslavians didn't do the bimetal jacket like the Russians did. So that stuff was always range safe, Yeah. That was, they always had used the corrosive primers in it.
I was going to grab my 7.62 by 39 ammo. David, I can just show you what I was talking about with that ammunition that I like to shoot with.
Yeah, the trade-off with the Yugo stuff, while it was range safe, it was a copper jacket and a brass case, was that you were using that was corrosive. But now you got the Yugo plant refurbished a bunch of that stuff. They took out the corrosive elements, so now you can get it where it's non-corrosive and it's non-magnetic. And one of the reasons why a lot of ranges don't like people using the bimetal jacketed stuff is because of, depending on what they have for their backdrop. This is indoor ranges, by the way. Depending on what they're using for their backdrop, that steel, that bimetal jacket can cause a spark, and some ranges have had small fires start from that stuff.
Yes, at my range, you can shoot everything to think of. The 50 cal is as high as they let you, the highest the calibers they let you go, and but you can't shoot any tracer rounds, and you can't shoot any kind of buckshot or birdshot, because, like you were saying, the frames that you hang your targets on will just get annihilated with buckshot and birdshot. People already take and shoot the frames with their, instead of aiming at the target, they just aim at the frame because they're jerks.
So, David, real quick, this is what I was talking about. This is the Hornady 123 grain SST ammo. They used to come in a 50-round box. You really can't see this very well, but if I can light it up this way. Here you go. Here you go. So, I used to be able to get this at Cabela's for like $23 a box, and you get 50 rounds. And so this could last me years for hunting. Okay, so you got the steel case, but you got the little polymer tip bullet. You got the SST bullets. You got a real high quality round. What I've seen is that they no longer make this, or if they do, they put it in the box called Hornady Black. But I thought the Hornady Black with this was only available in brass case, but apparently they do the steel case. They do this basically, but they're repackaging it as Hornady Black, which is $20 a box. So otherwise, I can go to Walmart and get the Winchester. Well, I used to go to Walmart and get the Super X, 123 grain round. So this would be another deer grade round. That's your soft point, 762 by 39. But we're talking $1 a round. So
yeah, that Hornady stuff.
I don't know how much of that left either.
That Hornady stuff's nice. It's got that.
Yeah, this stuff.
That tip combined with it being a bowtail round is one of the most accurate 7.62 rounds I've ever fired.
Yeah, this stuff will drop. This stuff will drop a pretty good sized deer out to 200, 250 yards. It's more than capable of it. So what I could do is I could buy those bullets and I can save my brass, because that's what I usually do is I save my 7.62 by 39 brass because it's freaking expensive. And I could start reloading my own, basically redo what Hornady's already doing. I could find out what the powder blend is and make my own rounds, essentially, which would be a lot cheaper than, I guess it depends on how much of that. But see, I wanted to tune my guns to fire just this. I wanted my optics dialed in for this because this is such a great value. I wanted to run this in all my magazines. But unfortunately, they're not really making it affordable anymore. They're just not making it at all. My other option is just Winchester makes 7.62 by 39. Just brass case, just standard, ammo that I could fire indoors. And, where I'm moving, there's an indoor range. But again, you have to have non-magnetic ammunition. So you have to have a lead bullet. You can't have, a steel bullet or whatever. So those are kind of my options right now. I did pick up at Cabela's. This was $12 a box. This is some Privy Partisan 7.62 by 39. So this is a nice alternative to the Winchester stuff. But otherwise, for just outdoor range shooting and stuff, if you're going to do 7.62 by 39, there's nothing wrong with going with Wolf or Tula, which is under $200 a case if you want to go with 1,000 rounds.
Yeah, I got a bunch of Wolf WPA, their higher level brand of the not soft point, but hollow points, the 124 grain hollow points that they were making. That I don't think you can get those ones either. But
it kind of blows my mind that. Yeah.
Go ahead, guys. I can wait. Don't worry.
Oh, I was going to say, it kind of blows my mind that they're going to stop making this because you've got all these AR-47s that are coming out now and just the rise in the popularity of the AK, that more people are using it for game and varmint hunting. I'm surprised more companies aren't jumping on the bandwagon and making, nice high-quality 7.62 by 39 rounds. I guess they're out there if you look around, but, Hornady kind of disappointed me with that because I was really looking forward to buying a lot of that ammo, and it's just not out there anymore. I can't find it anywhere.
Yeah,
can you buy steel case and load your own rounds? Now I know that most reloaders would recommend not reloading steel case unless you really, really need to and you really, really know what you're doing. But can you just buy unfired steel case and load it like you would buy unfired brass casings?
I've never seen any available.
Yeah, I honestly, my gun would be fine just doing brass, but I see what you're saying. It would just be cheaper if I wanted to make my own version of this,
Yeah, not necessarily reload, but load your own rounds.
Make my own.
Never fired casings.
Yeah, I've never seen unfired steel cases for sale. It's generally something that's corporately done. I've never seen for obvious reloader to be able to buy it.
Well, now that I've got all the brass for 7.62 by 39, I could very easily just start loading my own SST tip ammo and more or less do what Hornady's doing,
Yeah, it'd just be
Once I
easier
figure out
to
the powder charge and stuff, but yeah, that was the stuff I was talking about on Gary's channel. This was, that's what I was looking for on this morning. I said, if anybody can find me boxes of this stuff, let me know. I'm gonna start looking at gun shows and maybe check Tulsa too.
Yeah, it'd just be easier at this point if you're gonna reload your own 7.62 to get some of the Hornady and reload the brass from it.
So I'm finding steel casings on Etsy of all places, Etsy. 7.62 by 39 steel casings, clean, empty casings of AK-47 shells.
Yeah, probably stuff
fired,
somebody
but
had bought.
the thing is, you'd have to, if they're Berdan primed or whatever, you can't, or Boxer primed, you wouldn't be able to. You'd have a heck of a time reloading them.
Yeah, Berdan primers are harder to reload than what Boxer primers are, which is why in this country they've used Boxer because it's easier to work with. And
what's up, everybody?
Cases are easier to work with. So.
Yeah.
Hello.
What is up, big dog? How you doing, man?
You guys are talking up my alley. I've been reloading 7.62 39 for years.
Really? So what have you been buying the brass, or have you just been recycling your own, or what do you do?
Just recycling my own. And you were asking earlier, as far as I know, I don't think anybody does sell steel. And what Rich was saying, most of the steel stuff you get, look down inside of it, it's Berdan primed. Okay. So you're unless you were so desperate, plus it's going to be really hard on your dies. That's basically how I acquired so much brass. Was, this was back in the 90s. It just buying the Winchester white box stuff. I was working at the gun store, getting it at cost plus tax, so that helped a lot. But and I acquired a lot of brass that way. I haven't done any reloading for it lately, just because I only got one gun, my Mac 90. And I'll tell you this, you want to talk about reloading. Now, Mac 90s have been known to shoot really good. I was impressed when I first got the rifle just with cheap Chinese ammo. But when I started reloading for it, I was shooting sub-MOA with my loads. I have people that have witnessed me taking woodchucks at distances that an AK was not made to take a woodchuck or any target that small. But I shot it enough. I knew how the loads performed, and you got to understand the 7.62 rainbow trajectory. Also, after about 300 yards, you start getting a little yaw from spin drift. So, you kind of have to figure all that in. I mean, you got to look at what the round was meant to do, but yeah, you can reload the 7.62 by 39, and then even in a mediocre shooting rifle with factory ammo, reloading it, you're definitely going to improve it if you know what you're doing and do the right thing. So, what
were you using for bullets then? Just regular, just full, or were you using the SST bullets then? Or
I was using
because you can buy them.
I'm trying to think. I think it was a Hornady, but I cannot remember.
Because I mean, there's no lack of bullets out there if you want to reload your own 7.62 by 39. So that might be unique to caliber.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, I don't load 7.62 39, but I do have a fair amount of casings for it down in my bin. If anybody wants to talk, talk swapping, go ahead and PM me. I'm willing to swap stuff with you guys.
What caliber are you looking for, dude? Because I'm sitting on a buttload of brass right now. I don't know if I'll ever get around to being able to actually use it. I got tons, man.
Yeah,
I'm open to negotiation. That's right. I don't have any particular one that I'm looking at as, oh my god, I gotta have this. So I'm willing to talk. I mean, that's right. I'm willing. No, heck, if it comes down to sending you stuff now and then, Jason has a rain check, you send me something else later once I figure out what it is I need. I mean, I'm cool doing stuff like that too.
Are you just looking for brass components? What you looking for?
Is it because the whole California thing maybe, and so that's why you want to try to stock up on brass now, or what? I've
been getting more heavily back into reloading over the last year, but I actually started reloading about 4 years ago, and that's where 308, 7mm mag, The 32 Winchester Special. Let's see here. What else do I reload for? 223. I mean, I reload for a lot of different things. So it's really more of a matter of I just can't think of anything off the top of my head that I need at the moment. But that's where I'm willing to horse trade.
Well, I've got some pretty good stuff here. I'm sitting on 300 Blackout, 224 Valkyrie, 6.5 Creedmoor, 10 millimeter. I got a little bit of everything going on. Plus, I've got boxes just full of brass. 6.5 Creedmoor, yeah.
Yeah, I got somewhere around here. I got a couple hundred.
40 Smith.
Yeah, I got a couple hundred 40 Smith around here somewhere. I don't know where it's at though. PPU and headstand.
There you go, 40 Smith. That one right there works because I don't have hardly any 40 Smith brass, and that's something I want to start loading for since I do own one.
Oh yeah, I've got a couple. I've got probably.
If I find where it's at, Cal, I'll let you know. You can just have it. I don't read it.
Sounds good to me. Yeah, I mean that's right. And I mean, if we're trading back and forth, I figure whoever as long as the shipping weight's similar, whoever is sending it can pay the can pay the shipping. Because but if it's a one way like Rich sending it to me, then I'll have to pay for it because that wouldn't be fair for you to give it to me and then have to pay for the shipping.
Yeah. Now, if you just just do a priority mailbox and just pack as much in there as you possibly can.
Can we actually ship brass to California, Stan, or would they? I'm just
as of this time, it's still legal. Yes, that's where. As of this time.
Yeah.
Don't give them any ideas. Don't tell them people are reloading to get around the rules.
Yeah. Unfortunately, right at the moment, but then again, we're coming into winter for me in Ohio. That's my reloading time because I'm not doing much outside. I have a lot of empty brass, but I also got a lot of components that I need to get my butt working on. So, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't mind having some more 7.62 by 39. Like I said, I haven't reloaded it in a long time because I could get it so cheap. I mean, and I found that the Tula stuff, and I don't shoot indoors, so I found that I could get that stuff, the price I could get it for, I couldn't load it that cheap.
Yeah.
And it shot great out of my Mac 90. So, so that's why I really haven't done a lot of reloading for it. But
yeah, that's where Wednesday before Thanksgiving I loaded up 60 rounds for my 7mm mag, and then Friday I went out and shot 50 of them.
Had to keep 10 around just in case, right?
No, it was my shoulder was starting to hurt because 30 of the 150 grainers, 20 of 175s, and my shoulder was starting to get a little sore, so I switched over to the 223.
So here's the thing, man. I'm looking at this. It would cost me Winchester unprimed brass 7.62 by 39 would cost me $20 for 50. Well, for $15, I could ship you however much stuff I could pack into a priority mailbox, send you tons of rounds for the same price. You could save $15. You could send me back, even if you could send me 50 rounds of brass or 100 rounds of brass, that would still make up for the cost of shipping. I mean, the shipping is, you pay $15, but what if I send you, 1,500 rounds of 9 or 1,500 rounds of 40 or 45 or whatever? You're still going to be saving money in the end, even after you go through and process the brass.
The thing is, too, think about this. Buying new brass like that. And trust me, I've bought new brass just to do precision loads and all that, but look at how much you can buy the cheapest 7.62 by 39 brass case reloadable ammo for. How much is 50 rounds going to cost you?
Oh yeah,
so, that's something you get. And I've been reloading for over 30 years. That's in the back of your head. You're looking at pennies, man. You're looking at pennies. How much? You say, well, this round costs 12 cents a round. Well, that one costs 14. That's two extra cents a round. And when you're shooting thousands of them, something to think about. So
it's just got a question out there on the panel real quick, guys. Unknown user wants to know, he says he's looking for Baltimore ammo to use a 9mm AR, but he wants something heavier than 115 grain. Does anybody knows where he can find a good deal?
There's too much noise, too much background noise coming across. I couldn't hear any of that, dude. You got to run it by me again.
Yeah,
Okay.
your volume's way low, Rich.
It might
And
be my
Calaveras
voice
is echoing when he's not muted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's strange. Everybody's everybody's fine except Rich. He's kind of washing out there.
I think it's my voice actually because my throat's all messed up.
No, you sound good now. So whatever
Okay.
you did worked.
I didn't do anything. The Calaveras muted. That's all it was done. I didn't do anything.
All right.
Okay, but yeah, that's all that happened was Cal muted up. So I don't know.
So what was the question again?
Okay, so
Okay.
what were you saying?
Unknown user says he's looking for bulk hardball ammo to use in a 9mm AR, but he wants heavier than 115 grain. Does anybody know where he can find some at a good deal?
Well, Foose was selling. I mean, I've got bullets I bought from Foose that are 124, 125 grain, polymer coated 9mm. So contact Foose. He might be able to send you a bag of it for less than what the competition wants to charge you for just Full Metal Jacket ammo.
Let me ask you guys this. I don't know how many of you guys are reloaders. Do you for your pistol rounds, do you go with plated bullets or do you buy the jacketed bullets depending on what you're loading for? I have found that you can get really good accuracy with your plated bullets. You're not shooting lead, which I cast. And I'm also looking into powder coating now because lubing inside them, it's a pain in the butt. But plated bullets, bang for the buck, man. And honestly, go check out Everglades Ammo down in Florida. Amazed me is their prices on their plated bullets and also free shipping. No minimum order to get free, just free shipping. I'm like, 500 rounds to 1,000 rounds of 45, 230 grain plated bullets weigh how much?
They must be contracted with UPS or FedEx.
I
Man,
don't.
times must be tough for the shipping companies,
I don't know, but my buddy, he turned me on to them and he says, "Hey man, check out this deal. They had some Blem 9mm, which I got 1,500 of them to load. Blems mean, oh, this isn't right. Blasting ammo. You know what I'm saying?"
Yeah.
But anyway, he turned me on to this company and I went and checked them out and I'm looking at their prices and I went, okay, this much for the 230 grain plated or this much for the 40 cal this. And then I started looking at Barry and I looked at Extreme. Their prices were better and free shipping, which just sealed the deal. I mean, free shipping, the one box I got was damn near 50 pounds. Free shipping.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Up to this point, I have not actually loaded any handgun. I actually need to get myself some 40 dies. But, yeah, that's the only thing I've loaded so far has been rifle. But, if I can get, sir, you say plated is, cheaper and just as accurate as FMJ. Man, looking at it.
Yeah, it's copper plated. It's not a real thick plating, but it's thick enough. And nice thing about plated bullets too, if you're shooting steel, they blow apart a lot easier than a Full Metal Jacket. And plated bullets, indoor ranges kind of like them better because there's no exposed lead. Everything's covered. And another plus is a Full Metal Jacket bullet in a pistol. 90% of the time, the base is exposed lead. Yes, it's not hitting the lands and the grooves. It's not hitting the bore. But when the gun goes bang, it creates heat, which means that lead, that heat's hotter than melting point. And yes, it's fractions of a second, but it's enough that it will lead your bore after a while. And it's putting lead vapor into the air. So a plated bullet, you're not getting any of that. So pros and cons, like I said, plated bullets to me work. They shoot good, and like I said, if you're just looking for practice ammo, blasting ammo, and let's go have some fun, and it's just like any other bullet, you're going to find the powder that works good with that bullet that shoots more accurate. That this is the thing, people. Man, it's as a reloader for so many years, people go, oh, just open the loading manual. I can put this powder behind this bullet and it's going to shoot. you go out and if Calaveras, if you've been doing rifle, you go out and say, okay, I'm going to try this powder, this powder, this powder, and this powder. I think we got one video of me shooting test loads in my 30-06, I think. You'd be surprised on how different just using a different powder makes that round perform. So I've always said it.
Yeah,
can of worms, man.
I have a ladder test set up right now for my 223 60 gram tip in front of ram shot exterminator, and that's for I started I think 0.1 above the minimum. I went up to 0.3 below the max, and then every 2 increments rounds load for each. I want to chronologize and shoot them close that way because I get some more data. But yeah, I'm going to go and do some ladder tests, and I also want to test some different ladders because I know that makes a difference.
Your logo says C3, and you just sound like C3PO. Your audio is all kinds of
Yeah,
robot.
it sounds like he's
I
talking.
thought he
to
sounded like a Cylon
T02.
myself.
Oh, a Cylon. Wow, now we are reaching back.
Well,
Like,
about the same
like
time as Star Wars.
original Cylon.
Yeah,
Original
the original Cylon, you know, the one with the light in the middle of the forehead.
Flashback. Yeah, that's what I said would get me talking on reloading. Night Strike gets on me, but I've been doing it for so long, and there's so many things I've learned along the way, and certain things that, and it's like Calaveras was saying, using a chronograph. I've never really used one. I've used one, but I don't own one. But you know something? I don't, I never chronographed my 22-250 loads that you could shoot a dime, 3-round dime group at 250 yards. I never chronographed them loads. I don't know what the velocities were. Going by the book, they were pushing $4,000, but you know what I mean? It's like, so, and I've got into arguments with people about, and I've done these tests. This is funny. I've done it several times where I will go through and make test loads where I will trickle the loads to perfect powder measure, perfect whatever, and then I go through and I just load with I have got it from my uncle, guy that taught me to reload, God rest his soul. It's an old Lyman 55 powder measurer, number 55. I'll go through and I've done this, like I said, do the trickle loads, then I'll go through and use the powder measure. 9 times out of 10, powder measure shoots better than the trickle load. Now I have come to the conclusion why. It's more about volume than it is weight, which means the volume of the powder in the casing is more important than the actual weight of it. And you got to think what's going on, the burning going on inside, blah, blah, blah. I'm no scientist. I'm just telling you, this is what I have found. So it's can of worms. So,
yeah. Hey, is my audio any better now?
Yes, it
That's
is.
a little better.
Okay, I actually had to disable the Wi-Fi from my phone because apparently it's worse off than my data is at the moment.
Hit it with a hammer.
So real quick, Kingpin, did we answer your question?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I like it when
Cool, man.
I like it when you guys get into your zone and you just start talking about stuff.
Yeah, just kind of in a nutshell, I guess if your rifle can feed and run steel case ammo just fine, like your AK or your 7.62 by 39 upper for your AR, if that can run steel case and it has no issues with it, you should be good. Like on the Bear Creek one, I read a lot of reviews. The guy said that it runs steel case just fine, and hopefully I'm going to take mine out on Saturday. I'm going to take it to the indoor range and just get it zeroed so I can at least have it zeroed. So when the weather's nice enough for me to go outside here in Nebraska, I can take it out and do some longer range shooting with it.
How is the weather up there right now?
God awful. It's been terrible. I mean, I love living here, but yeah, we've had 3 days of like wind that's been averaging 30 to 60 miles an hour and blowing snow and ice. And they shut Interstate 80 down west of where I live, going out to Wyoming. So it was pretty nasty. A lot of accidents and stuff. And yeah, it's been pretty bad.
Interstate 80 is the turnpike that runs through Ohio. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah.
you can have that. I'm just south of Lake Erie, middle of Ohio, and you can have the snow. I don't want to die. Who was I watching? Oh, maybe.
Real quick, before we get onto the weather chat, that's right, something I wanted to, say real quick about the steel case. Depending on what kind of steel case you're running, it's not uncommon for them to have hard primers. So that's where, from what I was reading on the, especially at least on the first gen of the 7.62x39 AR uppers, I think by
Yep.
second gen they decided to make it, it just became a standard. But having an enhanced firing pin, which is, ever so slightly longer and a little bit tougher material, combined with a enhanced, a hammer spring, which is just a little bit, higher, spring rate, spring, combined to make it a more reliable system because of the hard primers that tend to come with the steel.
Yeah, that's the one thing about Pernam primers. They can be really hard. So you want to make sure if you got like an AR or something and you're using steel case, make sure you have a good spring to make for that and firing pin in there to make sure that you're going to, when you pull that trigger, it's going to set off that primer.
Yeah,
and the full weight hammer.
Yeah,
that's something else I've also heard about is the lightened hammers, like what they have, like the 3-gun, hammers and whatnot. The lighten, the reduced mass of those often is not beneficial for steel case ammo as well.
Yeah.
I ran into this.
Heavy hammer can hit it harder.
Right. I ran into this with my 1911, my para build. It's been in, I don't know how many videos I've made, but back in the day, CCI is one of the harder, it actually, other than American-made primers, is the hardest. Then you got Winchester. Federals, I guess, are the softest, depending. I usually run Winchester or Federal, usually Winchester for my rifles, yada, yada. But I had the same issue because, you start lightening your trigger and getting into this, high performance and everything. And that if you don't hit that primer hard enough, it's not going to go off. So a harder primer. Now, in an AR, I can see most AKs, if they're stock, it's going to go bang. They're hitting it hard enough. That's what they're designed to do. That's how the gun was designed. But I've never had any experience with ARs or any other gun in 7.62x39. So, I can understand that a hard primer like that. And yes, most steel cased ammo has a harder primer. So good point.
Yeah. And
we'll see what happens this weekend.
Yeah, SKS the same way. They were made to hit those hard primers because that's what they were meant to fire. SKS came 40 AK-47. I mean, so they were both designed to fire that round, so they're capable of it. So when it came to AR-15 and adapting it to it, they had a learning curve.
Well, the SKS and the AK, they were just made to be war hammers. So, that I say they were a little bit overbuilt, or let's just make sure we hit this hard enough. And Yep.
Well, the AR was built more to be a Swiss watch. The AK and SKS were designed for the conscript army, so that you pull someone out of the field, at noon, you hand them a rifle at 1, and point them towards the machine guns, and they're going to know how to use it.
Well, I would say with the AK, but the SKS is a little more complicated than the AK is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the SKS, man. I remember when I first seen the SKSs when a bunch of them came in, and I started looking at them and the way they're built, and they're definitely a little bit more precision made than most AKs are. I mean, the way the parts are machined and how everything works. So
Armament, what did you do before the internet anyway when you need to look up stuff on guns?
I worked in a gun store.
I'm just messing with you, dude.
And I looked at books and read a lot of magazines. Isn't it funny how magazines have just kind of went to the wayside? I mean,
oh yeah. Or they're just super thin now, or they just basically disappeared altogether, or they're only available in like a digital format.
Right? Yeah. Well, hell, even the NRA, you can get your magazine, whether it be paperback or digital.
Yeah. I still get
Or heck, that's
American
where-
Rifleman, but
Yeah, I
so
do
many
too.
of the gun magazines nowadays, their advertisements, they're not telling you much about them, but their advertisements, oh hey, buy this one next. That or their pictures of some random person that's supposedly a celebrity holding it, like, oh, I endorse this, yeah, because you got paid a certain amount of money, but that doesn't tell me squat about the firearm.
Right. Yeah.
well, the other problem with magazines too is that the information is so outdated. You'll see a gun on the cover of the magazine. It's like, man, that gun's been out for like 4 months now. I've watched so many videos on it. I've already shot that, and it's just now making the cover of the magazine. Might have been a big deal, 30 years ago, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, the internet. I mean, we're finding out about stuff before it even comes out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's like, oh yeah, I shot that yesterday. Man, that's my buddy.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I did see that the Taurus was a TX22 was Guns and Ammo Gun of the Year or something like that.
Really?
Can't help but wonder if that's just an advertisement, but yeah, it got Gun of the Year on one of the major publications.
What did sorry?
What's that, Rich?
What got gun of the year? I didn't catch.
Oh, the Taurus TX22.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Of all things, they're 22. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Guns and Ammo Handgun of the Year that's what they named it. So yeah.
Yet to fire it. Seen it at NRAM, which was kind of cool. That was their new dog, and the G3. That was their new thing. Which I've been hearing. Hell, I carry a G2. I love this little thing. The thing is yet to let me down. It always goes bang.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I got a G2C on my side right now.
There you go, Rich. I know you do. We've talked about it. The G2,
I got
just a bigger version, So
it is and it isn't. I've got a G3, and the trigger is totally different. Let's just get that out right now. It's a whole different kind of pull, and you've got a regular pick rail on it. But yeah, it does look like a like a 30% larger G2C more or less. But it's got enough design cues that are different enough that it's not exactly the same, but it is the same kind of lineage. But yeah, the trigger is definitely the improvement. It doesn't have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You say it's an improvement?
Yes, it is.
The other end of the spectrum, I got the G2C on my right hip, and then underneath my left arm right now, acting as a armrest, is my HK USP in its gun case.
Okay.
There you go.
Two totally different ends of that price spectrum.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, the G3, I think I paid $220.
Yeah.
$225 for it. It's basically, not counting the sale price, it's about $25 more than a G2C.
So what's the big improvement on the trigger? I mean, because
dude, it's here. Let me grab mine real quick.
The only problem I found now, I don't know if mine's the PT111 G2. It's not the G2C. Same gun, other than the Hillary lock, as we call it.
Yeah. The triggers on those two I believe they're identical. I have not noticed a difference in them, like the mechanisms and stuff. So let me get let me grab my G3 real quick here. All right.
The only complaint that I have is that goofy safety dongle. You actually, unless you feel it just right, you're gonna feel the click of that, and it goes past that, and then you get to the pressure point. What I love about it is the reset, though. The reset is so short on them, so that's what I'm wondering. What's the improvement on this?
Look at the trigger for one thing. It's thicker. You don't have the little tiny little fin in the middle. It's a completely different trigger. And your brake on it, it like hits it. You've got about a half an inch of pull, and then you hit a wall, and it's much more crisp. It's not quite so soggy, and then it goes.
Speaking of wall, you did check that before you started, testing trigger pull, right?
3 times. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yep.
I watched.
I even showed off the camera with an empty chamber before I started playing with it. So.
Come on, desktop. Come on, desktop.
Yeah, right in the house. I don't think so. But and it does have a long. It does have that.
Right?
What's that?
You know what I'm referencing, right?
Yeah, little obnoxious action going on there.
So
but yeah, the wall. I mean, the trigger is way thicker. The trigger honestly feels like a Glock trigger. I mean, the way that it just breaks and stuff. I mean it, and then the reset on it,
and it's double action too.
Well, okay, it is double action if you have if you have the full pull, it's a double action. If you have to do the Second strike. Otherwise, it's not. Otherwise, it feels like a single action, like it just hits it and stops. You don't have to do the full draw.
Right.
It's got a shorter. It's like a Beretta, basically, is what you could compare it to, but like a Glock. So sort of a double action, but more of a single.
So what do you think the trigger's breaking at? 3 pounds, 4 pounds?
No, I think I've read 5.5 to 6 in the single. I guess you could call it single action pull.
Yeah.
The cocked pull, I guess you could say,
Yeah,
but
single action.
But it isn't like a Glock because it does have the reset on it and it does have the second strike capability. So it is different than a Glock in that aspect. But man, it's been solid. I had no issues with it at all, and I put probably 250 rounds through it the first time I took it out, and I was running. It likes the heavier weight ammo better. It runs really well with the 124 grain than the 115 for accuracy, and then you get a 17 round mag or a 15 round mag or 2 10s depending on where you live. So
I live in a free state as of now.
I'm doing 17 plus 1. So
you tried any 147s yet?
Yes, and I did not shoot it very well. I shot Hornady custom 147s, and I was keeping it as centered as I possibly could, and they were all to the left. So if you watch my range test on it, the whole cluster was like 3 or 4 inches to the left. But again, big difference. Well, not really big difference, but you've got steel sights versus the G2C. Steel sights in the front and the back, and they're adjustable for windage. And so I think I need to move them over just a little bit. And you've got different sights on them too. So
how did the other rounds? Where did the other rounds shoot?
The 124 grains were just a nice central cluster. I mean, they were great. Okay. And the 115s were a little bit low and to the left. The 147s are right there in the middle. So yeah.
No, it's funny because I find that a lot with a lot of people, and even me sometimes. You shoot to the left or low and to the left, and it's the nature of the gun, a semi-automatic, the way you're pulling the trigger, the way you're holding it. So, buddy of mine, he carries a Glock 17, I believe. He's got a couple of them. He loves his Glocks. But we were out Friday, and he was having problems shooting to the left, and I'm looking at his grip. I'm trying to see what he's doing, and it's like, try this. But I told him, I says, look, it's like this. If you can adjust your sights, you adjust your sights to the ammo you're going to carry.
Yeah.
Just adjust your sights.
Did you tell him to put a little more finger on the trigger, though, to kind of pull the gun back a little bit? I mean, because that's one thing that made a big difference for me is I was using too much of like the tip of my finger on my my trigger, and I went ahead and put a little more finger on it, and that had a tendency to pull the gun back when I was pulling the trigger.
Right, instead of angling it. And I was looking at his grip. He wasn't using, most of us use the thumbs forward. And he I was like, try this, and he did it a little bit and he did okay. But this was a couple weeks ago when we went out shooting, and he was, I says, try this grip. And he says, man, I tried it and it's just not comfortable. I says, it wasn't comfortable to me either when I first tried it, but practice like that, keep shooting like that, then it's just natural. Mm-hmm. But he did come back at me and he says, well, I kind of got this grip and my thumbs are forward, but this is a little, and I can't remember. I think his right hand thumb was over his left hand. Now the guy's good sized dude, he's got big hands, but I think instead of putting his thumb forward on the side of the gun, he put it down over his hand.
Okay.
Okay, down over the thumb knuckle on his left hand. You know what I'm saying?
And he could be tensing up his grip right before he pulls the trigger, which would cause it to also pull the left too. So yeah.
But he shot consistently there, and I told him, I said, well, if that's where your carry ammo shoots, that's where you adjust your sights. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
So, I've been looking at those G3s, man. I'm thinking. Yeah, I think.
Well, if you want the stainless steel and black, it's only $5 more, I think.
Really?
And talking carry ammo versus practice ammo at defensive ranges, if you're sort of the combat accuracy versus target accuracy, if you're only hitting a couple inches or an inch or two to to one side or the other at 7 yards, 10 yards, whatever, then you may not worry about it all that much because it's still going to be where it needs to be.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, personally, I think everybody should have one of these if my camera turns on. There we go. It's right here. Everybody needs to have one of these.
Don't.
Right here.
Are you just trying to tell me this so I can go back and buy that one that I saw last weekend? Because if it's there this weekend, it may be coming home with me, man. I mean, it.
Maybe.
I know you're killing me here, man. And that's the second chance I've had to buy one of those now.
These
I'm
are
on
so
mobile. I
nice.
can't tell exactly what that is. What is that, Rich?
USP. Oh, go ahead.
This is the epitome of German technology, the height of HK's innovation, the USP, and specifically
Well, I was
the
going to say the
USP
BMW
40.
M3, but yeah.
9mm, 45 or 40. Everybody should have one of these.
Yeah, I could have got one of
That's
those for
just my opinion, but-
$416 last weekend. Oh,
HK
Yeah, I can't believe that price. Oh
HK
my
is
God.
definitely on the next, I'd say, 2 gun list.
Okay, look, I mean, I know people complain, oh, by modern standards, that this is a high bore axis. But you got to remember, this gun is 25 years old. This is halfway to being a CNR. For that time period, look how low that bore axis actually is.
I was just going to say, look at what the military just adopted. SIGs have always had high bore axis, and
Yeah, this is small. This is lower than any SIG's bore axis.
right.
SIG bore will be up here high, a little bit higher.
I
mean, this is-
always liked the USPs. I shot many of them. Never owned one. Shot many of them. Loved them. So
yeah, they're great shooters. I mean, they really are.
Yeah,
And
this
Well, I've
trigger on
never
this-
shot an HK. Can't say I've ever held one.
well,
this
shoot
is
an
like a-
MP5 and let me know how you feel.
If you like double action revolver, this is a double action revolver trigger pull. That is just a straight double action pull. There is no take up on this on double action at all. It's like a Smith & Wesson double action trigger pull. On the Smith & Wesson.
It's probably been 10 years since I shot a double action, and it was a early 70s police, service revolver that I was shooting of my grandfather's that he had bought from the department after he retired. I don't remember what the trigger pull on that thing was like.
Yeah, you fired in 1911 before, right? This is like this is a hinge trigger, but you got that little bit of take up like you would have in a 1911, and then it's glass. I mean, it doesn't feel like a hinge trigger when you're pulling that trigger. It feels like it's a straight back pull trigger. This feels like a 1911 trigger. It really does.
Okay, yeah, that's true. I've shot the 1911, Korean War bringback, and then my SIG P365 and 380 is a baby 1911 design.
Yeah, and like I said, this is a 25. This one's 25 years old. This is a 1994 first production run model.
I remember seeing them in our store, man.
Yeah. You remember the date codes?
No,
You see
I
that
do
date
not. I'd have to look it up.
Oh, I was gonna say, you see the date code on there? That
Uh,
KE.
KE.
Hell, I was only 4 when that thing was made.
In the
I think I was
USP's
16,
date code,
17, something like that.
in the USP's date code, K is 9 and E is 4.
You said 94?
Good
Yep.
year. Good year.
I was 22.
It's a junior in high school.
I was 20 when this came out.
Dang.
We're old.
Yeah.
Travis, you
Yeah.
said you had a chance to buy it. You seen it at a good price, and you didn't buy it. Was it you didn't have the money, or because let me finish here, or was it I got the money, but
Yeah, I'm really torn right now because part of me wants to buy more ammo. I want to get a couple thousand rounds because it's so friggin' cheap right now. Part of me wants to get a different upper for my AR and get either a 450 Bushmaster or 458 SOCOM. Part of me just keeps saying, man, do I want to get into a different caliber that I currently don't have? Because then I got to start buying ammo for it and stuff. And yeah, it would have been $416 used for USP 40, and it looked like it looked immaculate. I mean, I couldn't see hardly any wear marks on it at all. The barrel was nice and clean, was nice and sharp, and the grooves in it, and yeah, I pretty much blew it. But it's okay. It would have been. I mean, that 416 would buy me 1,000 rounds of 7.62 by 39 and just about 1,000 rounds of 5.56, after rebate. So that's just part of it. Plus, I'm trying not to stock up on a bunch of stuff with us getting ready to move. So I'd rather not have a whole bunch of extra stuff to have to lug with me. And so I'm trying to slim down a little bit until we get moved, and then I can, finally settle in for another year. So
when I didn't even know you were moving.
Oh yeah. My wife got her dream job about 180 miles away. So she's away, and then I go there on the weekends, or she comes here, and we've already got the house sold and stuff. I'm just here until May, and then I'm out.
I'll be darned. Well,
yeah.
Congratulations. Good for you.
Yeah, thanks. Well, for me, it's easier to find a job than for her. So she waited 10 years.
Have you lined your teacher? You lined anything up?
Right now, it's super early because people don't start giving their notices till March or April. So I won't know until spring what's available. But I've already applied it at one of the big districts, and then I'm going to be applying at some of the smaller towns around the area. So something will pop up. Worst case scenario, I can always sub and make a couple $100 a day and work part time somewhere. But yeah,
until you get the full time. So. So basically, you're staying until May, until school season is out.
Yeah, because my contract renewed for another year after she had gotten the job, and so that's why we said, well, look, we got a house, we need to pack up, we got to sell. We thought we'd have a hard time selling the house. There's a waiting list to buy houses in the town that I live in, so it was done. Like the gal said, I can sell it tomorrow if you want me to, and I was like, yeah, get out of here. And then she comes back with an offer from a family. I'm like, is that real? She's like, yeah, they want it, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Were they willing to pay the price?
Oh yeah. We were 500. We gave them $500 below our asking price.
Oh,
and they're actually going to apply. They're going to buy some of the appliances and the furniture in the house too. So it's
well, that $500 could have been that USP. Oh.
Well, they were 6,000 under the asking price. I'm like, no, we'll just go back to our original price and drop off 5. And then they said, sure. I was like, okay. And I asked the gal, I said, why didn't they fight me more on the price? She said, well, they'd already been outbid twice on 2 other houses, and they're getting tired of waiting. I was like, oh, okay. The problem you run into in the town that I live in, and I don't know what house prices are where you guys are, but there's a lack of houses between basically $120,000 and $150,000. And where I live in this part of Nebraska, that $150,000 will buy you a nice house. $189,000 to $200,000 will buy you a new house. Nothing fancy, 2-bedroom, 2-car garage, just basic,
Right.
So the $120,000 to $150,000 just get snagged up because that's an affordable mortgage for a lot of people. Anything under $100,000, you're looking at a lot of work. Anything above $200,000, somebody's looking at over $2,000 a month for a mortgage. So, yeah,
that's where we're looking at here. 1,000 square foot, 3-bed, 1-bath house built in the 80s is anywhere between $275,000 and $325,000.
And out here, that'll buy you they'll buy you a huge house, man. At least 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 3-car garage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Most places that will, but that's California for you, man, for real estate prices.
There's somebody that's selling a small horse farm for that here.
Right.
Yeah, if you go to somebody in Maryland, especially the area I live in, and say you have $150,000 to buy a house with, they're going to put you in their car and drive you out of state and drop you off somewhere.
That's par for the course out here, man. You can buy a nice house for $125,000 to $150,000.
Yeah, you get laughed at. You get laughed at if you try to buy
a house. They're going to drop you off in West Virginia from Maryland.
So, needless to say, but yeah, I'll be looking for something here, and if not, I was talking to the wife. If I don't get something, there are actually a couple gun shops that I've been talking to in the town that we're moving to that are interested in me.
Really?
Yeah, I've been talking to a couple places that are, but that would be kind of my backup plan if I had to do the sub thing and work at that place. That's not really my primary choice, but to me at this point, it doesn't really matter. So
are you staying in Nebraska?
Oh yeah, we're moving to Lincoln, which is the capital city.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. The neighborhood I live in is weird, and Kingpin knows exactly where I live. So I don't know if you saw me, but the cheapest house right now that's for sale in this area is $76,000. That's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. The most expensive is $450,000. That's a 7-bedroom, almost mini mansion.
Oh,
$700,000 sounds like a down payment. $75,000 sounds like a down payment. In most of the areas around here.
Oh yeah.
Homeless people in California pay more than $75,000 a year rent.
I can tell you here in Ohio where I'm at, depending on, city, but where I'm at, small town, we got, I don't know, 20,000 people. One part of town, you can get a okay house for 70, 80. The other part of town, you're looking at 200. It just, and
Yep.
depending, and the house that you get for 200 could be the same exact size, just in a different area. So yeah, it's location. And you know what I mean? It's kind of crazy, but I mean, honestly,
heck,
around here, 100 grand
San
get you a halfway decent house. So,
Well, that's where, of course, it's about 2 hours and 2.5 hour drive from Sacramento. But the city of San Jose, which is in the San Francisco Bay Area, just became the first city in the country here in 2019 for the median, home, starting price to exceed $1 million.
Oh my God. And then you got to wonder why you get a homelessness problem, right? Jeez.
Well, when it's $1 million for a house built in the 60s, that's 1,100 square feet, 3-bed, 1 bath, and then you have cities and the state that are handing out freebies, like it's going out of style, like it's a candy on things, on Halloween. Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of issues.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy. Our rent here right now, we're paying $729 a month for a 3-bedroom to 1.5 bath townhouse.
That sounds pretty typical of what we pay out in our area too for that kind of that sort of size and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, we got we don't pay water. Water's included, trash pickups included. We're paying for electric, gas, and obviously cable, which also has our phone and internet. So, but it's not that bad.
Yeah.
In California, we'd probably be paying $2,000 a month for New York City, we're probably paying that much or more.
Well, that's where in the Santa Cruz area. That's where we're talking. Is that talking mortgage rate or rental rate there, Rich?
That's rental. That's what we're paying rent a month.
Okay, yeah, that's what I had a feeling. The worst place I'm familiar with locally rent-wise is the Santa Cruz area because of the college. You can, you're looking at $1,000 to $1,200 per bedroom for a house is roughly what you can break it down to.
Yeah, that's what I said. We'd be paying $2,000-$3,000 in California, California for the same place we got now.
Okay, I just looked it up. Here's what the average rent in Los Angeles, California is: $2,530.
For what?
God.
Rent.
For how many bedrooms?
This is just the average for apartments.
How many bedroom apartment?
I can see if it breaks it down further than that. That's the overall.
Apartment down there, 2, maybe 3 bedroom if you're lucky. But that's where I'm here, on the outskirts of Sacramento in one of the quote unquote low rent blue collar areas. It's not a bad area, but it's more of a blue collar. Including water and garbage pickup, we're paying about $1,600 for 1,100. I think about 1,100 square foot, 3-bed, 2-bath with a 1-car garage.
Oh no, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, we got ours is I think 1,325 square feet, but we don't have a garage. But we have central air, gas furnace.
Cool, man.
Gas furnace would be nice.
Travis, have you guys lined up a place out there yet, or where's your wife staying?
We are gonna a lot of it depends on where I get hired and what happens to me, but we are just gonna go ahead and rent for 1 year. And we'll have the money left over from the house and stuff once we move, and then we're gonna save up and put a down payment on it. I don't know. I'm kind of torn on it. Getting a little bit older in life now, I don't know if I really want to invest into another house. But I mean, they are going up in price anyway, so it'd be a good investment. But man, I look at the place we live in now. It had a lot of stuff done to it before we moved in, but we've put probably probably around $10,000 into this place in the last 4 years. You know, $6,500 for new HVAC, and then $3,000 in just miscellaneous, you know, repairs and stuff like that. So I mean, that's not a lot. I mean, there's some people that drop that in their kitchen countertops, but for us, it's a lot of money.
Well, you
I
know,
just know in my mid 40s, I really want to start over with another house and go do everything all over again and paint and refurnish and refurbish. You know,
unless you bought it new, right?
yeah. You know, we have no kids. We got nobody to pass property onto. So do we really want to get locked into a mortgage and the responsibility of making the mortgage payment? Whereas if you rent, if we had an emergency or something really bad come up, we could just, you know, break the lease and move out, you know.
Right. Well, you were saying
so I don't know.
HVAC and all that, man. That's when stuff breaks, you know, water heater poops, whatever. That's just maintenance of owning a house, you know.
Oh, I know. Everything on a house is $100. It doesn't matter what it is. Yeah. Everything's $100. You know, it's a door handle.
I need one screw, $100.
It's 1 hour with the plumber. It's $100. It's an hour with the electrician. It's $100. I mean, everything is, you know. And we just, you know, we had a. I told David, we talked about this. We had to get our bathtub refinished because it had a crack in it. Well, you know, $3,000 to replace the bathtub and get all the work done, or $500 to get it refinished. So there's $500 right there. You know, right. It's just like anymore. It's like that's your new $1 bill is your 100 basically on anything.
I can tell you this: I do home improvement in the wintertime, or if I'm not real busy driving during the summer, but I take whatever job I can, and I do a lot of, and it's mostly for friends, and I save them a lot of money because they're my friends. We both do. In other words, we take care of each other. I do a good job. They pay me halfway decent, but they also know the value of the job that I do. For $500 is going to cost them at least twice as much if they phone up and call somebody. And matter of fact, here's a perfect example. Here at the house, we had our main sewage drain clog.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a snake. I could have went and rented one, but I just, you know, something. We got insurance. I said, call the plumber. They come in, was here maybe a half an hour, if that. Snaked the drain, got it all running good. $325.
Oh yeah.
Just.
We had our main sewer line power washed or whatever. They run the thing down with the camera and show you your main drain. Yeah, that was $400. And supposedly that had just gotten done the summer before, but it didn't. It had been 3 years. So that was one of the things we did not anticipate when we moved in here. A lot of the other stuff had already been done: shingles, water heater, water softener, gutters,
right?
Windows were sealed. I mean, there's a lot of stuff the family had done before we moved in. That's one of the reasons why we took it, because we knew we wouldn't have to drop $500 here, $600 there. But it's still, man, if you get a house, just either stuff's going to sit and it's not going to get fixed, or you fix it yourself, or just have the money on standby, because it is a big investment.
Can we go ahead? I was going to just see if we want to change the subject. Y'all hear about the
real quick, just to get back to the discussion we were having about the rent part. While we were discussing the rest of the stuff, my daughter looked it up. Average rent for a 2-bedroom. This, mind you, 2 bedrooms, not even 3, 2 bedroom, 2 baths in Los Angeles, $3,200.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it's like $1,500 in Maryland for something equivalent to that, and Maryland's considered extremely high, and that's twice as much in California.
I can tell you right now, where I live in this little small town, that I can get a 2-bedroom, very nice apartment. $700 a month. Yeah. Now, depending on where it is, rent with utilities or whatnot, what's included. But I mean, a really nice 2-bedroom apartment around here, $700, somewhere in there. So, location, man, that's the. And I guess a bunch of people want to live in California. What a bunch of boneheads. Nothing against California, but you know.
It's weather, man. I'm telling you.
Honestly, but you know something, you can get warmer weather moving to other states. So
yeah,
not during fire season.
Well, it's decent weather, low humidity, and the politics, are not the greatest, but there are some perks of living here as well. The whole, Of course, I don't know how to do either, but that's where the surf in the morning, ski in the afternoon, kind of thing is kind of nice too.
Well, you can do that here in Nebraska too, sort of, but yeah.
You're gonna have the icebreaker go out so you can.
Yeah, there you go. Just go on the Platte River and yep. Have somebody pull you in their boat, Yep.
Yeah.
No.
Well, see, you can combine them both. You can just get on a surfboard and
there you go.
Get on their snowmobile and pull you down the frozen river and say you're skiing and surfing at the same time, right?
In Maryland, you can do that too. You can ski and then drive all the way to Ocean City and freeze to death in the Atlantic Ocean.
You can do that in West Virginia. Am I right, Rich?
That is
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, you can actually ski down into the lake.
Certain times of the year, you got snow up high and warm down low. So,
Yep. Hey, Rich, I'm going to go ahead and drop out,
Yeah,
but I just want to thank you for the invite, man. Appreciate it.
Yep, no problem. You're welcome
Cool,
anytime.
Yep.
That you can get it, that you have time to jump in.
Yeah.
Send you a link every week. So I mean, you're welcome.
Oh yeah. Well, we need to try some on the road. I just never know about the cell phone connection, if it's going to actually hang in there. If you're going to, unfortunately, the Jeep is a fairly loud vehicle to try to talk on. Maybe if I get a noise canceling headphone or something, I'd work better. But yeah.
Yeah, well, on the phone, you'd have to have the Jitsi app to connect.
Yep.
just
Cool, man.
You'll be all right.
Sounds good, man.
Hey,
Yo.
Travis, thanks,
Yo.
brother. Good
Hey,
talking.
no, thanks a lot, man. You guys all take care. Have a good one. Everybody like and subscribe to everybody on the panel. It's good. It's a good crew. So make sure you follow us out there.
Peace.
All right. Take care, guys. Later. Bye-bye, guys. Hey, we'll talk to y'all tomorrow. See you, man. Bye-bye.
Anyway, did anybody hear about the big Mexican gun battle near the border with the cartel and everything?
Yeah, that was what, like Texas or something?
No, it was actually just south of the border, Villa Union.
Yeah, that was over by. Yeah, but it was near the Texas border, wasn't it?
Yep. Yeah.
When was this?
It just happened recently. Let me
Yeah, it
look.
wasn't that. It was like.
Oh, come on, mute.
Really
Damn it.
recent.
Hold on a minute. I'm having technical issues here.
America is watching.
Yeah, whatever. Stop. Damn it. This thing with a hammer. Let me see. When did this come out? Here, I'll drop it in the side chat here. This is
Yeah, I saw something talking about it, but I didn't actually watch it. So.
Yeah,
I did a video on it on YouTube. I saw the headline and stuff. I don't remember when it was, but it was recently. It was just in the last couple of days.
Yeah, I think it was maybe yesterday. I don't know. Here, I'm gonna see if I can do this here. Paste. Hey, there we go. There we go.
Okay, that's why I asked. Sometimes we get these breaking news story, then you look and it was 2 weeks previous. That's why I was trying to determine when.
Is there a date on this? It says published 11 hours ago, so I don't know when. Like I said, y'all can click on the link there. But yeah, I guess between police, cartel members, security force, not sure.
Yeah, fairly recent. I mean, 11 hours ago, that would have been.
It says an armed group.
11 o'clock.
Armed group of suspected cartel members stormed the town of 3,000 residents.
Well, it says Saturday. In the story, it says Saturday.
Yeah.
But the story was reported 11 hours ago, so maybe the story was from 11 hours ago. This just happened yesterday.
As long as it's not the story that was like 3 weeks ago, that's all I was asking.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at the link, there's a picture. The City Hall of Villa Union is riddled with bullet holes after gun battle between Mexican security force and suspected cartel gunmen Saturday, November 30th, 2019. And
it says it happened around noon yesterday. So.
Crazy. I haven't even looked to see who actually won a gun battle there. It says 21 dead. That's probably not a good thing, but
Yeah, it says that
Yeah,
the
21 dead. I don't know if you can really count that as a win for either side.
Right.
told reporters the state had acted decisively to take back the town. So I'm guessing that the city won, that the government won the battle from that comment.
I don't know.
The cartel had
Yeah, based on the history of the cartels, if the government forces really did win that, then you know reprisals are coming.
Yeah. The police had identified 14 vehicles involved in the attack and seized more than a dozen guns. 3 of the suspects were killed by security forces in the initial pursuit of the gang members as they fled into rugged terrain. According to Reuters, in the wake of the assault, the governor said the security forces will remain in the town for several days to restore a sense of calm. The town is about 12 miles from the site of a 2011 cartel massacre where officials say 70 died. So far in Mexico, there have been 29,414 homicides in 2019.
Imagine that.
Yeah, and that's for how tight are the gun laws down there again?
Yeah,
From what I remember,
worse than California.
you know, yeah, that's from what I remember, their gun laws are pretty strict. So, what exactly are these laws doing again?
Nothing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nothing.
Okay, that was meant as a rhetorical. I think most people listening to this kind of knew the answer to that.
Yeah. Well, and this is it's such a good point, Cal. That look at Mexico, look at what's going on with the drug cartel, and you got to understand something too. Mexican police, Mexican government, believe it or not, they are corrupt, and there is so much corruption going on down there that people's pockets are getting lined, and they let things happen, and they look the other way, and blah blah blah. But all these gun laws, and it's just like prohibition in America on alcohol. Who thrived? The people that were smart enough to get around it. Thank you, the Kennedy family, because that's where the Kennedy family got their frickin' money. So let's look at the cartels and everything that's going on. How's them gun laws working? Well, the cartels don't give a shit about gun laws. You know why? Because their politicians and cops are bought and paid for. Black market.
Rick, armament. Just, I understand you're getting wound up, but just try to keep it, clean.
Sorry, did I cuss?
Yeah, Cal, you weren't here earlier. I already kind of blew that when we were talking in politics earlier, and I kind of called Manchin a few choice words.
I just know
you're telling me that I'm okay, Rich, that you done broke the barrier. I'm okay.
Just keep it PG-13 at least.
Yeah, that's right. I know this show used to be Wild West, but it's not anymore. So
we all got to watch what we're doing because you never know who. Yeah.
Yeah, I called Manchin an SOB earlier and a butthole, but not exactly in those terms.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Literal translation.
Yes. Expand upon the abbreviation and exchange butt for another word.
There you go. That's why we all need to start using acronyms. Let everybody figure it out, right? Do like the military. They love acronyms. So, we just start using acronyms. No, like I said, though, man, you look at what's going on south of the border and, especially, everybody looking at, and we haven't heard a lot about it lately, all the refugees and blah, 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 which are, military age males and the children. Yeah, 90% of the group, military age males. What? Well, just let them in. Just let them in. Are you kidding?
And there has been, I know the U.S. border. I was reading an article saying the U.S. Border Patrol has actually, come across, groups of kids that were like, well, they'll catch the same 2 kids coming across the border multiple times. with different groups of quote unquote uncles or parents, or whatnot, because they know that, well, if they come across the kids, the things won't be as harsh as they try to come across by themselves. So they're actually being trafficked, where the kids are being brought across, flown back, and then brought across again as cover for some of these groups.
Yeah, you know, this is the thing, man. So much crap happens on emotion. All people watch the news and they're all emotion this and this and that, and they're spoon fed. They're spoon fed by the media, and you're making a perfect example because, of course, that's what's going on. Do you think these people down there haven't figured this out? How to work around? Oh, well, they're going to do this, and if we do this, they'll just you won't get. Of course they figured it out. And it's like, until we just go, hey, something, our border's closed. I wanted to use the F word and say our effing border's closed, but, I restrain. It just, no, stop, done, it's closed. And why do we want to build a wall? Well, duh, I get that. So, and people, build a wall on the northern border. Well, we're not having a problem so far up there, but if we do, I guess maybe. So, but it's definitely on our southern border, and with the cartels and all the crap that's going on, how blind are people? That's what really aggravates me, that people don't really pay attention to what's actually going on. They take it for face value. They're spoon fed, and they don't look at it and go, oh, I should have dug a little deeper. Help. Look at this. Just like our chat tonight about rent. Nobody understood. Out in California, it costs this much, and people are going, holy crap, I didn't know that. Well, yeah, there's a lot you don't know. Maybe you should research things like this, and maybe you'll form a different opinion and understand why we think the way we do, because we figured it out. We figured out what's going on. Those people down there trying to cross the border, they're using every law or any little loophole or anything they can that is our law to get through. The sad thing is the American government's not enforcing laws that they should be, and they're just letting people in. I'm like, what the?
Well, that, as well as, I'm a believer that our immigration system has not had a serious, I don't think it has had a serious look and revamp in a long time. So I'm sure there are plenty of things that we could go through and we could do things in a better way. But also, I don't know how popular he is among some of the people listening to this chat. But I think NEA made a good point when talking about immigration at one time. The barrier, whether it be wall or armed or whatever, is great. But that's where, if we really want to curb everything coming this way from north or south, we have to nip in the butt the incentives that they're coming across here for. So a combination of taking a look at our immigration system and seeing what still is valid and what needs to be updated, as well as nipping the incentives in the butt, would be a good place to start.
You make a really good point, and this is the thing, though, that yes, our immigration system did say, and it still does, but everything's being looked the other way, is, hey, you're going to do it, you do it this way. But what you're saying, and NEA, I did catch that, what he said, that, and it made total sense. Why are they coming here? They're coming here for, I can come here and get free stuff. I can come here and claim immigrant status, or, any status, or this or that, or, and I can get this and that for free. And come on, why are, and this has been documented, that the Democrats are going out to illegal aliens and saying, here, register to vote. And I'm like, what? They can get a driver's license. They can. No.
Yeah, one thing that needs to be done is start actually penalizing these states and cities that are violating immigration law. And you take the perfect. We were just talking about California, and you brought up the driver's license. California is giving medical, driver's license, food stamps, and cash assistance to illegals. What?
See,
And the
you have
kids
to
go
be
to
able to
school
push
for
back.
free. The kids go to
Well,
school for free.
only thing that you're going to hear, the only argument that you're going to hear is that companies need to stop paying hiring illegal immigrants. You're not going to hear this conversation unless you start this conversation. You know, you have to do like Rich is saying and address the actual problem that the government is baiting these people to show up. It's not the tomato plantation or whatever they call it where they grow tomatoes at that are purposely bringing in. They're taking advantage of cheap labor, yeah, sure, but that's only a small little fraction of it because free healthcare and education is way more expensive and way more valuable than $8 an hour picking tomatoes.
I can tell you this: we got a lot of immigrant workers around here, just south of me. I don't know, it's about 20 miles south. The whole area, I guess it used to be a swamp, but has this really rich earth, and they grow all kinds of veggies and tomatoes. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to say what I call it, but you can drive by and see where all the workers live, and I call it Ville. I won't say what the rest of it is.
The little shanty town, essentially. You know, is a nice way of saying it.
Yeah, where 20 people live in 2-bedroom with 1 bath. Yeah. But I don't know how much, especially in Ohio, I don't know how much free stuff they're getting, but I do know that most of them, they come up here and they work. Most of them are legal the way they do it, but they come up here and they work and they send, you know, come on, $100 in Mexico is like 500 here, depending on where you live. You know what I mean? So they send a lot of money home. They live. The farms that they work for provide housing for them, yada, yada, yada. So, and everybody argues, well, they're, you know, taking American jobs. I don't want to do their job. And I don't know what they're making, but I don't want to do their job for $10 an hour.
Yeah, but that was debunked during the summer because ICE did a big raid on some chicken plant in like Indiana or something, and the very next day they had twice as many people standing in line to fill out jobs as they had jobs available.
Yep.
So the Americans don't want to do the work is false.
Well, I don't know.
You might not, and you're an individual. You have that choice, but as a population,
As
Americans will do that work.
Nobody with any skill that is just looking for labor.
What
I don't know what everybody here does for a living. I know what I'm skillful at, and I know what I can do. But a lot of immigrants or just people in America, they're just laborers. Hand them some labor. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah, what I've always said when somebody said, well, they're doing the jobs Americans won't do. No, I look at it and say, no, they're doing the jobs Americans won't do for what they're wanting to pay them.
Exactly.
And see, that's already blown apart too. Because in Maryland, we don't have a lot of illegal immigrant farmers. Most of Maryland's farming is pretty much automated. You know, you got tractors and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, we got tractors here. But you got to understand that.
I'm talking about we don't have tomatoes and like you know, we got corn and soy out here. You don't need somebody to pick that by hand.
Right. Yeah, we got all that around here, but like I said, south of us they grow a lot of vegetables and you know, so
in the construction field, illegal immigrants are so ingrained into what's going on in construction in Maryland and Virginia. Illegal immigrant crews make just as much as anybody over the table, and sometimes even more. But what they do is say Rich is the boss. He charges, we'll just make up numbers, $100 a day, and then he hires 10 people and pays them $2 a day. So Rich is still making a ton of cash, and he's just exploiting a bunch of other illegal immigrants.
funny.
And that's right. No, the big thing so much, and we focus so much on the southern border. I can't speak for the rest of the country, but I know our entire West Coast. We also have a lot of people that are coming in from east of us. I'm sorry, of west of us. Over
Asia.
not so much Japan, but that's where mainland Asia and in the South. South Pacific and this kind of stuff that come here legally on one type of visa or another, but then their visa expires and they stay.
Yeah.
And regardless
that's
of what
a
they're
lot.
doing for a living, that's also an issue as well. So it's not just people sneaking across the southern border that have no skills. There's more. That's what we focus on so much of, but that's not the sole issue.
Yeah, that's one of the things with 9/11. You hear people all the time, oh, the 9/11 terrorists, they came into the country, they snuck in illegally. No, most of them actually came in legally on legal student visas and overstayed those visas after they expired. They didn't cross the Canadian border, they didn't cross the Mexican border. They flew into the country legally on an airplane and stayed over when their visa expired.
Yeah, getting in and out of Canada is way harder than the United States. That Canada's immigration rules are way stricter than America's.
There were a
And
couple
funny,
of them.
they don't have the problem up there like we do.
Yeah, there were a couple of the hijackers that snuck across the Mexican border, but most of them were already in the country. The ones that snuck across were just the day laborers of the terrorism field, if you will. They were the ones that didn't have any skills. The ones that had the skills and had the pilots training and whatnot, they had already been in the country for a couple of years. This was planned out well in advance. This was not something that was spur of the moment. Those people did not sneak across the border. They came across the border legally and then overstayed their visas illegally after the fact.
What was that I was saying earlier about, Calaveras Kingpin might have said it about how the illegals have figured out how to do this and do that. Well, they got it figured out. They watch the laws. They got it all figured out. The 9/11 terrorists, they had it figured out. They knew they could do this. They knew they could do that. That's
because they'd done it before.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't the
Yeah.
first. Remember, that wasn't the first time Al Qaeda struck in this country, and it wasn't the first time they had pulled that scam.
Actually, wasn't it 91 when they tried to
92,
blow up?
so it was
92, yeah.
92,
Yeah.
and then again in 96.
Which one was the van full of explosives in the basement or the parking under?
92, they actually succeeded in setting up a bomb in the parking garage. 96, they caught them plotting to try and do it again. And then 2001, they just decided to use airplane.
Yeah, and this is the thing. I was a welder fabricator for years, and people say, "Oh, jet fuel doesn't burn hot enough to do this." Well, you know what happens when you got 150 tons or more above, and you weaken the steel below.
Yeah,
you don't have to get it to melt. All you got to do is get it to get soft.
Yeah,
once that 200 tons starts to fall.
Yeah, it's actually physics, people. It's simple physics. The jet fuel was burning in a tight area, in an area again with high
paper, blah blah. Yeah, and the plane.
That's where the jet fuel would have burned off relatively quickly, even with as much tonnage as they had. But you're in an office building that has tons of flammable stuff that's also going to burn. Combine that with you have now removed a third of the structural members of the structure, as well as you have applied a torque that the structure was never designed to handle.
Yeah.
And that's why there were survivors that said they couldn't get doors into the stairways open until they kicked the sheetrock next to it, and then it released enough tension on it, the doors able to open. It means it was a combination of heat, weakening key members. A third of the members were missing, torque that wasn't designed for, and now you have all the weight above it being supported by a fraction of what was supposed to be supporting it.
Yeah.
Guess what happens? Guess what happens? We were just, we were talking about houses earlier. If you're in the construction and understand how this works, What happens when you take out a supporting wall?
Oh, yeah.
Upstairs collapses.
Look, listen,
Yeah, and the reason why the steel got weakened is because, like I was saying, you had that closed and confined space and high wind and a fuel source. What
Yep.
happens when you have a closed confined space, a lot of air, and a steady fuel source? You just turned that building into a forge.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like,
you guys are making the wrong arguments. All that makes too much sense. You got to think about the fact that if 9/11 was an inside job, meaning that George Bush, who everybody said yesterday was the dumbest person in the world, and then at the same breath was smart enough to plot out 9/11.
right.
You got to figure, okay, the plane crashed in Pennsylvania, the plane crashed in D.C., the two planes crashed into the buildings in New York. All of the people, that's thousands of people that would have to be involved if the government plotted this. And
Right.
not one leak has ever come out. Now look
Yeah.
at today. Donald Trump can't blow his nose without 15 leaks coming out. Nancy Pelosi can't, put on her Skeletor mask or put a Nancy Pelosi mask over her Skeletor mask without a leak coming out. To think that 9/11 was a government conspiracy and no one in this whole time has leaked one drop about it, come on now. Can I say they're complicit? They knew it was going to happen? Yeah, sure, they knew it. There was plenty of warning signs that they ignored over and over and over again and made us vulnerable. But did they plot it out to happen that way? You're gonna have to come at me with some.
Yeah, you got to convince me a little bit more. And you're exactly right. They
And
knew
this
about
time
it. They didn't know. And since then, I guess all the agencies, the alphabet agencies, work closer together. But back then, it was like, oh
Yeah.
no, we got this information. We're not going to give it to them because we want the credit.
Yeah, and
kind
there's
of
one
thing.
other aspect too that they intentionally planned it for that time period for one reason. The transition was still going on. We were still transitioning from one presidency to the other. That is one of the most chaotic points in time that our government faces, is transitioning from one president to another, because there's a ton of changes going on with the administration at the time. They're still putting people into key jobs and everything. So they chose that time for a reason.
Love the mass confusion, don't they?
Yeah, sorry, Rich. Didn't mean to turn this into a E Honda style conspiracy chat.
No, E Honda would be arguing the exact opposite of what we're saying.
Yeah, no, he'd be calling us crazy and say, "Yeah, George Bush planted the bombs himself."
No, like I said, and looking at the Twin Towers, they were a tube structure. If any of you ever taken a pop can or a beer can and stood on it and then tapped the sides and watch it crush.
Yeah. Oh, that brings me to Building 7. I'm so sick and tired of hearing the bullshit about Building 7. You ever hear of a shared foundation? What do you think is going to happen when you have two multi-ton buildings come toppling down on a shared foundation? You don't think that's going to happen in the other building?
Look,
shared foundation. Even if the buildings,
they have some pretty solid. They have some pretty solid evidence for the Building 7 thing, but it's only one clip, and it's that reporter standing there talking about Building 7 collapsing, and it's still standing behind her. And then while she's reporting on it, it comes down. So she says that it collapses like 30 seconds before it even collapses in the video. That's where they get all that conspiracy part from, is that specific video.
Yeah, well, also the shared foundation. I don't know about shared, but I can tell you that's where that section of Manhattan, they had to, put in Z-pile walls around that site because that area should be a swamp. So they had to de-water that site significantly, which means that ground is not the most stable, even after all the construction work had been done on it. So the impact of those two large structures hitting is going to essentially set off a small localized earthquake throughout the foundations of everything around it, and other buildings aren't going to like that, especially when they're not designed for earthquakes. So, I mean, I can't say the shared foundation thing, but that would definitely be a contributing factor.
Yeah, I mean, you got both of those buildings coming down, hitting that foundation. What the buildings were built up upon, it was a perfect storm of building collapse. I mean, that's exactly what it was. You had all these factors combining in together, and it just that there was no way that building was staying up. That was the third, if I remember right, that was the third largest building on that. The only building on that complex that was bigger than Tower 7 was Towers 1 and 2. So, I mean, it wasn't like there. You could see the writing on the wall. When those two towers came down, something else was going to fall. It was inevitable. It just, I don't know. People just want to believe what they want to believe, I guess.
Oh yeah, I mean, trust me. I know plenty of people that are 100% convinced that 9/11 was inside. Even when you try to explain to them, they just ignore you. But that's where I think Kingpin makes a fantastic point about there has been, I can't think of a single incident in which the U.S. government has been able to keep something of any significant size top secret and not have somebody leak it, deep throat style.
Oh man, yeah. Getting back to that,
Okay.
Their excuse for why nobody's leaked it is because all these people have been killed. I'm like, oh, well, where's your evidence for that? Oh, I don't have any. Well, can you say these people were all killed? I mean, and not have evidence. You don't.
They got Clinton. I have evidence.
But yeah,
I'm gonna kill myself. I'm gonna shoot myself in the back of the head twice.
Yeah, but even the ones that get Clinton, their bodies are found.
Hey, just everybody out there listening, if I shoot myself in the head twice, I probably didn't kill myself, okay? I probably didn't suicide myself if there was a second round. Unless it happened by, reflex, but
Yeah,
it could totally happen.
Hi, Stacy. I was going to say hi to Stacy. I seen she popped in.
Yeah.
I've been in like 30, 40 minutes. I've just been listening.
So how would it happen, Stacy? How would 2 rounds happen? I'm just curious. Reflex?
It was one of those 22 Magnum revolvers.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe it shot 2 bullets.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's one of those double barrel 22 Magnum revolvers.
Yeah, it could totally work.
Yeah, or that's where it was a Uzi or something, and you just didn't let go of the trigger fast enough.
Yeah, right. That's what I said. Full auto, maybe, but yeah. And the one guy that did get shot in the back of the head twice, they called it a mugging, even though nothing was stolen. I'm like,
nothing was taken, but he was mugged. How many muggers actually shoot somebody in the back of the head?
Yeah, usually they're in front of you, right? Well, that's the thing going around. Epstein didn't kill himself. No, Epstein got Clinton.
Did you see Steven Crowder's video that he did on that?
I have not watched that. I know he did. It's a long video. I've seen it. I haven't.
I watched it when he did it live.
Crowder's funny. Crowder tells you right out the bat, he's like, I'm a comedian. And he is. He's freaking comedian, but he's a political comedian, and he does his podcast and everything, but it's just I love his change my mind videos. That those are the best. And some of the freaking idiots that you see, it's like, my God.
You think
our society
even if he doesn't necessarily get the best people to talk to sometimes, I do like those change my minds because of how he does handle them. Like, okay, they disagree, but as long as they're willing to have a civil conversation with him, he'll allow them to say something that's completely foreign to what he, was saying or may or may not believe. But that's where, as long as they're being polite about it, he will let them speak, which I do like, as opposed to, on both sides of any issue, you have so many people that are, well, you don't like, I don't like what you're saying, so I'm going to shout you down. That's a big part of why, there's so many of the, political commentaries that I just can't watch because, of people that do that kind of stuff.
Well, the one thing I will say about Steven, and of course he's going to let him talk, because that's going to give him more arguing points. And if they're willing to talk civilly and not, scream at the ceiling or the roof or the sky and, be stupid, liberal, dumbass, non-informed people.
Yeah, hold on there, Armin. What's up, Kingpin? That's wrestling. You said that you wanted to say something.
I'm sorry. Wrong button.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay.
No, and for him to, you're exactly right. If they're willing to be civil about it and talk about it, he's sitting willing to listen. But it just gives him more ammo to, counter attack and whatever. Yeah, change my mind. That's the whole idea. Let them sit down and point out their case, and most of us will just sit there and go, shake my head. But it just gives him more ammo for content. You know what I mean? And it went silent. Did I kill the chat?
No, I was having a small coughing fit.
Yep, you killed it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I just got one thing to say.
Well,
among other things, but right now I have one thing to say. If you ever see me buying a Starbucks coffee, it's because I'm about to be Clinton to do something to help please. That's going to be my signal that the Clintons are on to me.
Buying a Starbucks. I can tell you this. I've had one Starbucks coffee in my whole life. And this was, oh God, I'd have to go back. I went to the Beale Street Music Festival in Memphis. It's Tom Lee Park, right down on the Mississippi. It's where they have the big barbecue thing every year. But Beale Street, it's Memphis in May, yada, yada, a bunch of bands, Saw a bunch of, Bob Dylan, Black Crowes, yada, yada. Anyway, I'd never had a Starbucks. And at that time, Starbucks was just starting to get popular. And I spent $6 on an itty bitty cup of Starbucks. And I said, well, I want to try this. And I was like, the shit was so strong. And I'm like, something, just give me my damn Maxwell House. Okay. I'll be happy with that. Cause I don't get why, and no offense, but iced coffee. I'm sorry. I don't like cold coffee, period. Okay. I don't care what flavor it is. It's yuck.
I don't drink coffee.
And this show, real quick, this show has gone full circle. We started it off talking about coffee. Now we're talking about coffee again.
All righty. I came in late, so I missed the coffee chat.
I had to leave, so.
Yes, but we have gone full circle. We are now back to talking coffee again.
And I'm trying to remember, and this is the funny thing. I was an avid coffee drinker. I'm trying to remember the last time I had a cup of coffee in a few months. So
I don't drink coffee. I hate coffee.
Well, I like coffee, but I'm not going to get personal. But let's just say coffee is a bowel liquidator kind of thing. So if you drink too much, I know people that drink coffee like nonstop. I couldn't do that. So I don't mind a good cup of coffee here and there, but yeah.
I'm
It's
mostly.
That's for
It's an acquired
calling
taste.
Starbucks strong is kind of funny though. That's for to this. I don't remember the last time I had anything from that particular retailer, but I will buy coffee from the local truck stops. Now that's some good strong stuff. But thing about the it's if I'm ever buying Starbucks coffee, it's probably a cry for help as well.
Most of the time when I'm drinking coffee is around this time of year because I can use eggnog as a creamer.
Eggnog.
Eggnog as a coffee creamer is awesome. If you haven't tried that, do so.
I remember the first time I tried eggnog, I was like 12, and I'm like, oh, this is like a milkshake kind of thing.
Yeah, most of my eggnog nowadays is you got some brandy or some cognac mixed into it.
I was just going to say the
brandy.
Alcoholic eggnog is better for sure.
Well, so what? If just Irish your coffee, what difference does it make? Is that another layer of flavor?
I tried whiskey in my coffee. I didn't like it. It didn't taste good. So,
You didn't have the right stuff.
It was Jim Beam Devil's Cut.
Yeah, that's
that's
not the right stuff.
Bullshit.
No. To properly Irish coffee, you have to use Irish whiskey or maybe a Scotch. You don't use Jim Beam. You don't use a bourbon.
Well, you're no fun then. No, honestly, any bourbon drinkers out there, Devil's Cut over a couple pieces of ice, little bit of just a little, like 2 shots. Oh my God, that stuff tastes so good. Just sip it. Oh, good whiskey. I can't remember what whiskey I tried. I dumped a little bit and I'm like, that didn't taste good. I'm not a whiskey in my coffee kind of guy.
When there's other alcohols,
Whatever.
I'm fine with it. Just take out the coffee.
Hey, I like you, Stacy. Thank you.
It's a lot better.
Yeah, but Cal, you do know cognac is a brandy, right? It's just a brand of brandy. Well, variety.
Yeah, it's just a little higher. It's a little higher quality, brandy than a lot of the stuff that I have around here. So that's why I chose cognac when I picked up. If I wanted brandy for my eggnog, that's why I decided to pick up a little nicer stuff than just
but
C&J or H&J or something like that.
Yeah, but you specifically said brandy or cognac. Cognac is brandy, so it can't be or if that's what it is.
I know
that's true.
I'm here, so I got to pick on somebody on a technicality.
My son's ex-girlfriend's name was Brandy. Does that count? She was crazy.
What was that?
I said my son's ex-girlfriend's name was Brandy, and she was probably one of the craziest ones. So, does that count?
No, I don't think you want to be putting her in your coffee. So, eggnog. That's weird.
Yeah, female equals crazy. That's for. That's just as a general rule.
Excuse you?
I was gonna say something, Stacy. That's for you're pretty level-headed, but most ladies, I'm saying as a generality.
And this is when his fiance sneaks up behind him and smacks him upside the back of his head.
Cal, you'll find out how level-headed she is next time you're in the chat without a wrench. I see you 300 seconds getting timed out coming your way.
Uh-huh.
Most definitely.
I was just going to say, all I can say is Stacy puts up with snob. You got to give her credit for that one.
Well, that was by choice. I mean, that could be. I mean, you're actually opening her up to go to Calaveras' point by saying that. So, back off of that one a little.
Yeah, that's where I've met Stacy and Snob, and of the two of them, she is the sane one in that particular relationship.
I've met them both too at NRAM. I'm just saying, and I said to Stacy, she's like, Snob, and I was like, you married him, and she's like, well, That can be changed kind of attitude.
It still can. Besides, I'm cuter and I'm sweeter. So
There you go. All in fun. All in fun.
but piss me off, you better run.
Yeah, she's got a stun gun and she's not afraid to use it.
Oh yes. Wasn't Obnoxious afraid of that? What was that all? Did you stun him with that thing? What?
No, I threatened to. I don't need a stun gun. All I need is me. They're still run.
There you
Is
go.
Midnight not doing a show tonight?
He's what, 10:30? It's I don't know.
He's working off a snob's time.
Oh. Yeah, I don't think I got
he'll be doing his show tomorrow then.
Anyhow, guys, I got to bail. It was good chatting with you.
All right.
Peace, brother.
He's probably getting yelled at for his women are crazy comment.
Well, no offense, Stacy, but women are crazy. And to women, men are crazy. But, that's just... And let's get to this 57 genders. What's between your legs? Let's just say what's between your legs. Okay.
57 genders. What are you, a science denier?
Yeah, right. No, look, I'm sorry. The men and women that we totally think different. It's just the way we think.
It's a secret what's between my legs.
Probably a Glock 19, but I'm just guessing that maybe.
That's wrong tat for
that. I'm just hoping she's got one close to that, just if she needs it. I mean, honestly,
I Glock 32.
Seriously, the whole men women thing.
A Cerakoted Glock 32. 34, 33. It's one of those damn things.
Yeah, one of them Glocks.
One of them Glocks in the 30s.
One of them Glocks, they just change numbers. They're all the same. They just go, this short or that short or this caliber. They're all the same. A Glock's a Glock's a Glock's a Glock. So,
I love the Glock 19.
Glock makes one handgun. They just make it in different sizes and calibers.
There you go, Rich. Exactly right. They're a one-trick pony, and they do it well. So,
I don't know. If they did it well, they wouldn't have to keep changing it every time they turn around. They wouldn't be on Generation 5. Generation 1 would have been good enough.
Yeah, I don't own a Glock. I'm just,
What are you doing? The cat is being stupid.
Oh, that's cats. That's what they do.
Yeah, but he's Siamese. He's supposed to be smart.
Have you seen the what the hell insurance commercial Mayhem? Where he's like, "I'm your cat. This is 13,000 years of tiger DNA." It's so true.
You have a Siamese.
I had,
haven't you?
Huh?
My car.
You haven't seen him? He's been on camera before.
Well, I'm just curious whether it goes around singing the Siamese song.
We are Siamese, if you please.
No, but he goes around meowing his head off like he's doing right now if you can't hear him.
We do what we want to do most all the time.
Yeah,
That was like my favorite part in Lady and the Tramp.
I know that song.
But then I got ripped off in the new Lady and the Tramp, the one that's not cartoon. They had the two cats, but they weren't Siamese, and they didn't sing the damn song, so it was kind of jacked up.
Yeah, I seen an ad for that. Watch this, and I'm like, nah, you're not going to ruin Lady and the Tramp for me. Come on.
It was cute, except for that part. I I downloaded Disney Plus, so I've been watching a bunch of crap on it.
Yeah,
Why did you Disney Plus for The Mandalorian?
No, I actually didn't know anything about that. I just seen a commercial about it. I've seen it on there, but I never watched it. But
You didn't watch The Mandalorian? Come on.
I just started it today, and I'm like 15 minutes in.
Okay, I think
in Star Wars when they killed Han. I'm sorry.
Well, whatever. The Mandalorian takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi. Mandalorian that's where Jango Fett came from. Boba was Jango's clone, but
I know the story.
Okay. They were from Mandalore. So
I know that.
Okay, Mandalorian, that's where it's coming from. Anyway, honestly, so far, I think it's been pretty good. I think there's 4 episodes out. I watched episode 4 last night.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, Disney Prime or whatever they're calling it, Disney Plus, it's like $6 a month or something. It's not that bad.
So far, I've watched one thing on Disney Plus. The other thing I've watched on Disney Plus was Pluto's Christmas Tree.
Funny thing is the only reason I joined is to watch Mandalorian. I go back and I'm surfing through all the shows that are available, and there's like hardly any that I really want to watch that I haven't seen. You know what I mean? So,
well, I've never really watched like a lot of the Marvel movies, so I've been kind of looking up the order of them and watching Marvel.
Yeah.
Okay.
The last one of the Marvel movies I saw was Ragnarok, so I'm a little bit behind.
You are behind.
Besides watching Hulk, when I was younger and stuff, but so like my mom's watched all of them, and I'm like, well, what order do I need to watch them in? She's like, I think you need to watch this first. So finally, I looked it up, and it had like all the different orders you should watch it in. So I'm like on the 6th or 7th movie. I don't remember.
Yeah, the whole Marvel universe, that's MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe. Man, great movies. I don't know how many are in the total. Of course, it started with Iron Man.
No, it didn't.
I swear it started with Iron Man.
No, it didn't.
The order it told me to. It told
what
me
did it start with then, Rich?
It was the Hulk movie with Edward Norton.
Okay, I'll give you that. It kind of. What about the Hulk movie with what's his name?
No, that wasn't. That one's not considered to be part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If you go on Marvel's actual website and look up the Cinematic Universe, it started with the Edward Norton Hulk movie.
Okay.
Yeah, everything I found said to start with Iron Man.
Well, I'm just saying.
Maybe Iron Man was out first in that one, but the Edward Norton Hulk movie is in the cinematic. But that might have been the second one. It might have been Iron Man, might have been first one.
Right.
Because
anyway,
there were characters from both that were in there. The Edward Norton was originally supposed to be the Hulk, but something he backed out, and then the other guy was fired.
Right. Yep. Actually, what's his name? What the hell is that? The guy the general guy played the general. Can't remember his name. Yeah, he went over to the new and what's his name that plays Hulk now? Cannot remember his name. Anyway, no. You can't just drop in and go, okay, I'm going to watch Endgame, because you're not going to know what the heck's going on. Yeah, it's good cinematography and good action, but you're still going to be lost in the story. So the whole Marvel thing, you got to watch the whole thing. It's just, but Endgame, pretty interesting how everything turned out. And it's comic book, it's superhero comic book, but good movie, very good movie. So, and I've not been disappointed by the Marvel movies. So, and yes, you can watch all of them on Disney because Disney owns all that now. So, but
well, they actually don't have the second one, which was Hulk. They didn't have that one, which I had already seen it years ago. So my mom has all of them. I mean, she has the actual DVDs of them. So I could have got it, but I know the story of Hulk. I watched it, so I wasn't too worried about it.
Heck,
But,
I'm old enough to remember the Hulk TV series.
yeah,
Yikes.
me too.
I'll go ahead and make the unpopular statement of the evening. Pick any one of the movies and watch that one, and you've seen every single other movie, and you only wasted 3 hours.
Yeah, not quite.
Not quite. Yeah, you don't know the whole story. Come on, it's graphic novel. You know, it's not a comic book. And this is the funny thing. Everybody calls it a comic book. Well, when comic books first came out, they were funny paper books. They were comedic.
Yeah, this is messed up. Marvel Comics doesn't have the order of the movies on its page anymore.
Say what?
Yeah, they don't have the order on their page anymore.
Huh. Interesting.
And we were talking about this a couple months ago, and I went right to the source, and we're looking at it, and they don't have it on there anymore. That is crazy.
I thought about going back on there and watching all the Star Wars again.
Who here seen Star Wars: A New Hope in the theater? In the
Which
theater. That was the first one, Star Wars. The first one. It's called A New Hope. That's episode 4, by the way. In the theater. Anybody?
Nope.
I seen one in theater, but I don't remember which one it was back in 2000.
Oh no, I'm talking 1977.
Then now.
Yeah, 1977. I was 11. It ran in our local theater, and you got to remember, back in those days, it's not like today where everything's online, blah blah blah. That movie ran in our local theater for over a year. You could go see that movie for over a year. My mom would, this was just north of us, Sandusky, Ohio. My mom would go up and do shopping. She'd drop me off at the theater. I'd say, yeah, I'll go watch Star Wars again. It was $1.25.
Okay.
During matinee, a bucket of popcorn was like $3. You know what I mean? You could go watch the movie for like $7. Yeah, I saw that movie 14 times in the theater just because.
Okay, according to Wikipedia, The Incredible Hulk came out a month after Iron Man, but the events in Incredible Hulk take place before Iron Man. So
now you are confusing me.
yeah, the events in the movie take place before, but the movie came out after.
Damn timelines.
Yeah. About almost a month. Iron Man came out almost a month earlier. Iron Man, according to Wikipedia, came out May 2nd, 2008. The Incredible Hulk came out June 13th, 2008. So, at any rate, those were the first two movies.
All I'm going to say is it's worth a watch. I've watched the Marvel movies through Iron Man, Captain America, Civil War, Captain America, Winter Soldier, the Avengers movie. They're all tied together. Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame. Endgame was really good, but you're not going to understand everything that happens in Endgame unless you watched all the other movies, because it's a culmination in the end. You know what I mean? It's just, so it's a lot of watch time. I will say this: Endgame is like 3 hours long, so long movie. But the whole Star Wars thing, been watching it from the start. I'm looking at the new one coming up here in December, the Rise of Skywalker, which is supposed to be the end of this whole story. And I'm like, How was it the end of Skywalker's Rising, and I'm hearing the Emperor's voice?
Oh,
in the
no. They said they're making more movies after this one. They
Yeah,
already announced.
Yeah, it's like Anyway, back to the Mandalorian. Seriously, so far it's been a pretty good show. I mean, it's you know it's a TV series basically, and most of the shows are less than 40 minutes. But so far it's pretty good, and of course, Baby Yoda. Everybody wants to call him Baby Yoda, even though Yoda died 5 years before, and Baby Yoda is 50 years old. But anyway,
Yeah, well, when 900 years you reach, 50 years old is a baby.
Yeah, really.
It's like the elves in D&D, man. Come on.
But yeah, the whole thing with the Mandalorian, it's a Yoda species baby that he is sent to get the bounty on this, and he delivers it and then decides it's a baby, and he saves it and he runs, and the whole Mandalorian people help him escape and yada yada. Anyway, yeah. So far, it's honestly I've enjoyed it. It's been a good show. So waiting to see where it goes. It's just like The Walking Dead. It just ended last Sunday for
what you just said ruined it all. You know why?
Shut up.
Because a Mandalorian wouldn't have done that. A true Mandalorian would have killed the kid.
Anyway, with The Walking Dead and all of this, it's a soap opera. It really is. It's a soap opera with action. The Walking Dead is a zombie soap opera with action. It's all about the story, and But yeah, I'm waiting to see where it goes next. So
a Mandalorian refusing to fulfill a contract because it was a baby. Nope. I'm not buying it one bit. Not from what I know.
He fulfilled the contract.
No, he didn't. He didn't turn the kid over.
No, he did. He turned the kid over. He turned the kid over. He fulfilled the contract, and he asked.
That would have been it. He would have went away. He wouldn't even have bothered with the kid after that. See, that's not a true Mandalorian. They done screwed up already.
But he asked, what are you going to do with it? Blah, blah, blah. And if you're watching the series, little baby Yoda has force skills. Little baby Yoda knows how to use the force. But no, he delivered it. And when he did, he's like, what are you going to do with it? And they're like, you shouldn't even be asking. You're a Mandalorian. Rah, 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 rah.
Yeah,
so he leaves. Yeah, but
even in the script, they're saying they screwed up.
But you got to watch the show, because guess what? The Mandalorian was a kid once himself that was put in a little, here, we're going to try and save you. And you just saw your parents get blown away and yada, yada, yada. And you got to watch the goddamn show. I don't want to explain it all. Just watch it. It's not bad.
They already ruined it, man. He's not a true Mandalorian.
Whatever, dude.
They just walked away.
Whatever, dude.
You two are hilarious.
Just watch the show. That's all I'm saying. Honestly, like I said, it's entertained me. It's been a good show. So I think it's 4th episode. Been a good show. So
I watched a little bit of it. I'll watch some more of it.
It's pretty good.
By the way, if you're going to watch the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you also have to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh yeah, I did that.
I've actually seen all of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Are they are they done with them? Because I think I watched all of them and I haven't seen any new. Are they done with?
They're supposed to have one more, maybe like 10 episodes, maybe, but not till next year, I don't think.
Yeah, the last.
I actually watched S.H.I.E.L.D. first, because when I was still working I was on there looking for series to watch and stuff because on our downtime and we don't have any apartments to do, that's what I would end up doing at work was listening to that. So I actually watched all of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well,
the last
S.H.I.E.L.D.
season I saw was the one where at the end at the end of the season they flew off into space looking for Fitz.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're watching it, the whole getting sucked into this big thing and to another universe, and the other guy came back as a bad guy. And, oh yeah, he was a good guy.
Oh, you mean when they got sucked into the computers? Yeah. It wasn't
I don't know.
Universe. It was a computer system.
Yeah, but yeah, I watched it, and the nice thing, like Stacy said, she was looking for something to watch, and it was on network TV, which made it real easy to watch.
Yeah, it's on ABC.
Well, I watched it all on Netflix. They have every episode on there that's been released. Besides, it hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, I think I'm 2 seasons behind.
I'm way behind on everything. I don't care. I'll catch up when I get around to it.
Usually, by the time I find something I like to watch, I think it's a pretty good series, and it's on Netflix, I'll sit there and watch it every chance I get, or even just listening to it.
Yeah, the part you were talking about, A&A, that was the last season I saw. That was the beginning of the last season that I saw. At the end, because they always split their seasons up into like 2 different storylines, if you remember. The first storyline was the one you were talking about where they got sucked into the computer system. The second part of that story arc, they ended up getting sucked into the future.
No, I was talking about what the hell was that big hunk of rock or whatever that they had in the containment, and shit. Fitz, what the hell was Fitz? The girl and the guy, her name was one, and she got Jenna. Yeah, she got sucked in, and then this guy saved her.
It was like some portal thing, whatever.
Yeah.
Even before that. Christ. Okay, you're a season before that. You're I know where you're at. You're
what's his name? He was a good guy. He was a good guy. And then he came back.
No, he was never a good guy. He was a Hydra guy.
I was just gonna say yes. Thank you for reminding me. He was Hydra. But yeah, he came back, and wasn't it Coulson that finally killed him with his generic arm or whatever?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Mechanical arm.
Yeah. And how is Coulson still alive? Coulson died in like Avengers whatever, and he came back.
Tahiti, man, it's a magical place.
Yeah, he went.
It is a magical place.
Yeah, except for when Coulson actually went to Tahiti, he came back and asked him how Tahiti was, and he said it sucked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I my buddy, guitar player, long time friend, made a lot of music together, Jay. But he's like, "You checked out Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?" And I'm like, "No." And then I started watching it, and I was like, yeah, I was hooked. Watched it for how many seasons, and I'm like, what? We're not coming back? What? So good storyline. I mean, like I said, man, all of this stuff is, graphic novel kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's like, then again, I look at around and everything else that's on TV today, man, I'd probably watch this over reality TV, because reality TV is not reality and it's a fucking joke. Sorry. Oh, wait a minute. We broke that thing.
No, we were still PG-13, but PG-13, I think you're allowed to get away with one F word.
But
So we'll do it again.
So yeah, it says Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been renewed for 13 more episodes and will come out sometime in 2020.
So you're telling me that I haven't watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in like a year, so I probably missed something?
Yes, you missed a lot.
Okay, I'm going to have to go back and watch.
Yeah, Rob Dean's out there. Is this all TV talk tonight? Nope, you missed a lot. we covered a lot of topics tonight.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to go back and check out Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and see what I missed.
Yeah, there was a lot of going to different places.
Is that playing on Netflix or anywhere that
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's probably on Marvel Plus too as well, would be my guess.
Well, I got Netflix. I mean, normally I just went and watched it on TV, you know what I mean? But
Netflix, you ain't got to worry about commercials.
Yeah. I hate commercials. I really hate commercials. It's like, I just want to watch my show. The only football I watch is OSU football. Oh, and by the way, Rich, I guess OSU is playing West Virginia in basketball. I think the 29th.
Yeah, okay. I don't watch basketball.
I don't either. The only sports I watch is OSU football. But I see OSU playing West Virginia. I'm like, well, who the hell am I supposed to root for? Damn it! My dad was the biggest West Virginia fan, and he's from West Virginia, and blah blah blah. And it's like, but no, I seen OSU kick the crap out of Michigan, and that makes me happy.
Notre Dame beat the crap out of Stanford.
Yeah. I guess OSU is paying Wisconsin in the championship. So, wait and see. But I'm not
falling in the Big Ten, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I'm not a big sports guy. I just, like I said, I'm an OSU fan. Other than that, I could give two shits. Pro sports to me just put an equal mark that says overpaid assholes. Yeah.
When I paid attention to Big Ten, you wouldn't care for who my team was anyway. No, it wasn't Michigan. It was a team from another state that borders Ohio, but this time to the east.
Pennsylvania, Indiana.
East, man.
East. It'd be Pennsylvania. Penn State.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. As long as it's not Pittsburgh Steelers, nobody cares.
Hey, the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Cleveland Browns today.
Well, good for them because, Ohio State could beat the Cleveland Browns, but whatever.
Not this season.
Actually, yeah, I did see they were doing better, but I still think I would love to see, Ohio State's best team just play Cleveland Browns and see how it went.
I guarantee you the Browns would win. You're not going to have a college team that's going to beat a pro football team. No. Hear me out. You got a much smaller talent base to draw from in the professional game. The professional game is a lot faster, which you'll hear what does every rookie that comes up from the college game say? They couldn't believe how much faster it was in the NFL. The players are stronger. The players are bigger. I don't see a college team going toe-to-toe with an NFL team and coming out ahead.
I can see your point. I don't know, man. The Cleveland Browns in the past 7 years, and like I said, I do not watch pro sports, but I watch the news and it's like the Browns lost. The Browns lost. The
Yeah, the
Browns.
Browns lost, but look at the scoreboards in a lot of those losses. They weren't by a lot.
Apparently my team lost.
What's your team?
49ers.
Well, whatever.
Yeah, they lost to Baltimore in
Yeah.
the rain at the last minute. I mean, literally the last play of the game.
I've been a 49er fan since like the 80s.
She was
No,
on that Montana bandwagon.
I don't really watch them much anymore. I don't really like watching stuff on TV. I don't mind going to the games and stuff, but I don't really watch any sports on TV.
You know, this is nothing against any tailgaters. But,
You'll notice, Renee, she did not deny when I said she was on the Joe Montana bandwagon.
I totally was. He was hot.
hey,
Oh,
hey, you know something? That's no different than us guys looking at any female pro sport or singer and going, they're hot. What's the difference? There's no difference.
hey, I'll do the same thing on female actors or whatever and say they're hot.
Yeah,
Kelly LeBrock, she was an actress and she was really hot.
Kelly LeBrock was married to Steven Seagal.
And he beat the crap out of her.
That's what I heard. Kelly LeBrock. What the hell was that weird science?
Yeah. That's exactly what it
That
was.
was the one that she was like really hot in.
And
Oh,
don't forget the Pantene commercials. Don't hate me because I'm beautiful.
I just keep seeing her in Weird Science.
weird science. Oh, what the hell were the two guys that played in that? Yeah, created her from a Barbie doll or something.
Yeah.
That was such a good movie, though.
And one of the bullies ended up going on to be Iron Man.
Right. Oh, and a black guy or white guy playing a black guy, and
Hey, here's another little hint, another Marvel connection. The one that played Chet, the older brother, went on to be an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as a Hydra agent.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You don't remember that?
I didn't put him with being Chet on Weird Science.
Yeah.
that's
He was the one that was what's his face's mentor in Hydra. The one that was Coulson's friend.
Oh, that one agent. Yeah. I didn't realize that was Chet.
Yeah.
Huh. I'll have to go back and watch that.
You know how that works. Actors get a call and go, "Hey, you want to work?" And they're like, "Okay."
Yeah, and he was also the one in Aliens that was screaming, "Game over, man! Game over!
Game over, game over, man. That's Will Paxton.
Yep. No.
Hey, man, I don't know if you've been keeping up on current events, but we just got our asses kicked. All right, Aliens. That's Will Paxton.
Did you ever watch that show, Saved by the Bell?
Saved by the Bell. Who?
My wife watched that crap.
Well, the one that was Screech, that was like the dorky, tall,
Yeah.
whatever, Dustin
the
Diamond.
perv, Screech the perv.
Yeah, it's Dustin Diamond is his real name, but
Yeah.
just think of how he looked in that movie. And then I went to a comedy club in Chicago with a bunch of paramedics and EMTs, and he was hot. I mean, he was like really hot, and all I could think about was how he looked as being Screech.
It's funny because after that he buffed up, he worked out, yada yada. So
Yeah, he's done all kinds of really kinky porn things too. So. Which is why I said he's a perv.
Hey, if he looked like he did when I saw him in that comedy club, I'll go find them and watch him. He was pretty hot then.
Oh, Stacy, that's funny.
My dream actor is Matthew McConaughey.
Either of you
all right.
Did either of you ever watch professional wrestling to know who Buff Bagwell is?
Nope.
He became a male gigolo when he quit being a wrestler.
I never watched wrestling because, look, I'm gonna throw this at you, Rich, whether you like it or not. It's rigged.
No
I'm
shit.
talking like
It's
the
like-
WWF stuff.
Nobody argues that fact. The whole point,
Okay.
professional wrestling isn't. You're not supposed. You know that the outcomes are already predetermined. That's not the
And-
point. It's
but-
a stunt show. It's a stunt show with a script. That's all it is. I mean, it's
Exactly. And I was going to say this. You're exactly right. If you think those guys aren't athletes, you're full of shit. Because there's no way you're going to do what those guys do day in, day out. They practice for it. They train together. And you got to remember, these guys that, you're seeing go up against each other. Oh, it's all, Hollywood. And those guys are training together to do these moves to not hurt each other. It's
if you think they don't get hurt, still you're on your damn mind.
they do as much as they train, and that's what I said. People don't understand that these guys that are fighting each other actually trained with each other way before you've seen it. They're trained, and dude, they still get hurt.
Yeah, if you don't think getting hit with a steel chair hurts, let me get a steel chair and hit you with it. I mean,
But the guys that do this know to go, okay, I'm going to hit you with a steel chair. You're going to put your arm up, and I'm going to lightly tap you with it, and you're going to go down and make it look like, dude,
lightly tap.
You're going to fucking bleed.
Lightly tap? No, they're not lightly tapping. There's if you go back to when was it? There was a show that AEW, the newest federation, that was started by Cody Rhodes, the son of Dusty Rhodes, and some other guys. If you go back to the show they did in June, they had a chair that was supposed to be rigged, but the guy grabbed the wrong chair and he whacked Cody Rhodes in the back of the head with it and split him wide open.
Owen Hart's dead.
Yeah, Owen Hart's dead. Owen Hart fell from who knows how high up.
Remember when there was the NWA and the Four Horsemen and all that, and Barry Windham?
Yeah,
he got whipped into the turnbuckle outside the ring. You know how they used to do that. And he was moving so fast when he hit it, he actually dislocated his shoulder. Those guys get in. I mean, just like any other stuntman in any other movie, they get injured.
Oh yeah. Did you ever see the clip of when Sid Vicious was fighting Scott Steiner in the late '90s, and Sid climbed up to the second rope to do one of those double axe handle moves, and he landed, and his lower leg bent in half. I mean, literally, his boot folded in half. He snapped his leg clean in half. His
when you were watching, did you go, ow? I remember the Owen Hart thing.
You guys like, ooh, that had to hurt.
No, I remember the Owen Hart thing, and he was supposed to skydive down and whatever.
Yeah, they were trying to have him do like what Sting would do, where Sting would come down from when he
did work out so well for him.
Yeah. It was a freak accident. A clip or something broke, and he just.
Like I said, dude, look, I don't watch pro wrestling. I do understand, for one, this is not real fighting. This is not real fighting. It is entertainment. And what these guys do, you got to be an athlete. You're a stunt man. To take it to heart to go, so-and-so won the belt. It was pre-programmed.
But you're doing that because we don't know what's in the script. That's the thing. You got to remember that too. We don't know who's scripted to win what. So when you do get behind one of the heroes, it's just like watching a comic book movie. We all know Iron Man's going to win at the end, but we all get happy when Iron Man wins at the end. So it's basically the same thing. When the hero wins the championship, you get happy because the hero won the championship, even though you know it's a story, you know it's scripted, but you still get happy because the good guy won. That's still, you know.
Well, like I said, man, I'm never a big pro wrestling fan, but I respect them. I really do. And you look at what they do, and you know something? People get hurt. People die. People, and you're exactly right. It's all a stunt show. It really is. It's stuntmen, very well trained, that practice together. They do that, but not me, man. Not me. I'm not going to do it. But I'll give props to them. But to take it to heart that, oh, this guy kicked this guy's ass, really, you might want to reconsider your thought of how it really works, kind of thing. It's entertainment.
Really interesting. What's really interesting is the backstage stories that you hear the guys tell, things that happen backstage. Like when Arn Anderson got into a fight with Sid Vicious, and somehow along the line a pair of scissors got involved into the fight. I mean, they were actually fighting for real backstage.
Midnight sent out his links.
Oh, he finally did?
Yeah, ask. I mean, you don't want to ask him now because all the other personal trouble he's been in. But aside from that, ask Jimmy Snuka how his forehead feels. You know, he used to cut his head. I know. He used to cut his head with razor blades.
Yeah, it's called blading. That's why Dusty Rhodes.
Hide the razor blades to make dramatic and just a little slice. And I'm like, hey, you know something? Y'all get paid a lot more than me to do what you're doing, and I'm not willing to cut myself to make blood flow to make. But wait a minute.
If you look when they start bleeding, you can tell if they bladed or if it's legitimate that they're bleeding.
Right.
Like the last pay-per-view of AEW's I watched, Cody Rhodes, interesting enough, got busted open again, and you could see the flap of skin hanging because he went and jumped over the top rope and missed and face planted on the entry ramp, which was not corrugated. It was the diamond texture cut steel that's supposed to
how about he just face planted on a wood step?
No, okay. It wasn't wood. It wasn't wood.
It was just a wood step, and he face planted on the corner of the wood step. You're gonna fucking bleed.
Yeah,
you're gonna have a gash.
Yeah,
and head wounds bleed.
Oh yes, they do. But you could tell this was not a blade because a blade would have been a straight cut. Whenever they bladed, it was always a straight cut. This was a jagged flap of skin hanging there.
Yeah. Like I said, man, I don't watch it, but I've watched enough of it. I got a lot of friends that do, and all my friends know it's pre-programmed, but it's stunt choreography, and sometimes it goes wrong. And what you were saying is some of these people behind stage really do fight, and I don't know why.
Their tempers get up and they'll go at it. Bruiser Brody back in the 80s was murdered in the locker room in a show in Puerto Rico. Nobody was ever charged with it because nobody would ever say who would come forward and say who did it.
Okay, what about what's his name? He made a couple movies. Roddy Piper. Love that guy. Roddy Piper was a pretty cool dude. What the hell was that movie he made?
They Live?
Did a really good job. I thought he did a really good job in that movie.
The one with the aliens.
Back to what, like the late 80s?
Yeah. I came here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm out of bubble gum.
Yeah.
That's where it came from. But yep. Anyway, I guess we should start wrapping up at midnight, sending his links out. So we'll start with Stacy. You got anything you want to plug?
No, not really.
Okay. I mean, it's your choice. Kingpin, anything you want to plug?
He doesn't have anything to plug either.
You might not even be there. Kingpin, wake up!
He fell asleep.
I'm in the middle of trying to mute Snob's brand new video on the speed reloaders. I didn't want to play it when I was saying goodnight, everybody.
Well, why in the world would you be watching it in the first place?
My show, and you're going to go over there and watch somebody else. Okay, I see how this works.
And Snob of all,
Hey.
and Snob of all
Arm
people.
Show. I met with Speedloaders USA. And I did a video with him, which I'll link to right up over here. So check that out. He goes
Oh
over
my
a bunch of
God, do I
different
have to
models they
listen
make
to
and
him?
stuff.
You listen to him on a daily
Mute
basis.
him.
You're gonna torture
Put him
him.
on mute. Put him on mute.
Just mute him.
I didn't mute him. He muted himself. Anyway, are you going to plug anything or just watch Snob's video?
Apparently, he's gonna plug Snob's video.
Yeah, I'm just going to plug Snob's video.
Okay, plug Snob's video.
Kiss up,
Have a good night, everybody.
suck
All
up.
right. Hey, and you got anything you want to plug?
Hey, peace, Kingpin. Hi, Stacy. Hi, Rich. Nothing to plug other than watch our channel on YouTube and blah blah. You know, same old, same old. Thanks for having me, Rich. Had a good time hanging out, brother. Thanks.
Yep, no problem. And thanks to Pano for showing up. Thanks to you all out there for watching. And we will hopefully catch y'all next week. Go head over to Midnight Show. For the closer.
Dumpster fire.
Oh, whoosh.
Oh, that is my strike.
Dumpster fire. Toilet flush. Whoosh.
Not me. I'm probably going to bed.
I'm probably doing the same thing. I don't know if I could do another show after doing 3.5 hours, whatever the hell it was of this. My throat. No, I couldn't do another show last night either. After doing Snob show last night, my throat when I was away, I was doing Sarge's show too. It just wasn't going to happen. So if you're
Usually
still
after
at this
listening to
point, sorry.
Snob,
Huh?
usually after listening to Snob, I have a huge migraine.
So you have a huge migraine constantly then.
Pretty much.
I was gonna say you married him, so whatever.
Don't remind me.
I heard the deep breath. He's like, don't remind me.
I'm gonna send him to David since David loves him so much.
I don't know if that was supposed to be like a threat, but I thought it was all right.
No, it was a promise. I'm totally gonna do it.
All right, guys, I'm out of here. Thanks for having me.
See ya.
Love all you. Peace, brothers. Peace, sister.
Yeah.
Night, Stacy. Night, Rich.
Night, Chris.